Hello and welcome back to Call to Arms, and thank you for answering the call. I'm your host DJ, and I'm joined once again by my co-host Mr. Kel Stark. Hello.
Oh, nice to have been back for full games today.
Yes,
which is great.
Full games. He is he's 2-0 today on 3-2 in the weekend and 2-0 for today. So that's a good finish, I'd say.
We do have a very good game for you guys coming up as well.
Yes, indeed we do. Before we get into that, however, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. The chat participation has been fantastic, so please keep that going. The game that we have for you today might not seem like the most interesting on paper, but please believe me when I tell you this is a very nuanced, very interesting and very, very strategic game that we're going to be watching today. It is Soulblight on Soulblight. We have zombies versus zombies, and one of the main reasons that we have this game on for you as well is because one of the people, I think probably wouldn't mind us saying that if he was to win this game, he's pretty much odds on for taking out the tournament here.
Yes.
In terms of points and in terms of strength of schedule, it looks as if this could be the decider for at least one of the competitors here. We do have the ability for two people at this tournament to go 5-0.
Yes, we still have Nathan Watson and John Bayliss.
So they're having their own little decider right now. So we have Nathan versus John. They're both on 4-0. And Will is playing versus JJ, who's now gone 4 and a draw. So he's kind of like an assassin here right now, because if JJ wins, he could shoot up the podium and actually kind of nab it from second place.
Yes.
Whereas if Will wins this, he could go 5-0, and depending on how much points he's scored and his strength of schedule, he could actually take out the entire tournament here. So, would be obviously really great. We've not seen Will. We've not seen him take out a tournament yet. I don't think. No, I think he's actually had.
4-1.
Yeah. I mean, solid player. Knows his stuff. He has been pushing around zombies for quite some time now this year, back in the old book iteration, and now he's got the new book iteration, and he's still loving pushing those zombies around. So yeah. We will go through the lists in a wee moment. We also have some questions in chat as well. So we've got Alan George. Hi, Alan. He's a classic FEC player. Alan loves his FEC, and he's also a really talented painter as well. So he does some lovely stuff. He's asking, are we getting any Wooden Spoon or mid-table Masters games to spread the love around a little, please? And he's also said, switching around the stream due to my request, hopefully. Unfortunately, Alan, no. We are not looking at any of the lower tables this weekend. We are only interested in the filth. We want the top meta stuff, and we are showing it off, hopefully, in its full loveliness. So so that's why we've got over 300 zombies to show you.
Ridiculous amount of models that we're going to see clashing today.
God. But don't worry, we'll keep it exciting. We're going to keep the energy going, and we'll have a great time. We've also got Lenny. Hello, Lenny, saying he's here to be YouTube famous. Let's go. So big shout out to Lenny there. We actually played at Tempest as well. So really nice guy. He's got a really nice army as well. He's got Slaves to Darkness there. That was great. He was running Kotet with the 2/6 of Vanguard, Be'lakor, all that good stuff. Lenny also plays out of the club in Helensburgh as well. Yes. So very close to my old stomping grounds. I'm originally from Dumbarton. So nice to have a club so close to my old home turf. So yeah, big shout out. So thanks everyone for watching. Please do comment and chat. Please do ask any questions, and please keep us right as well. We try to catch everything, but sometimes we miss something, so please do that for us. So without further ado, I think we're ready to go into the lists. So let's discuss. Now the lists are probably going to sound very similar, but there are some slight differences. So we'll kick things off with, this is Will's list first of all. So Will is running Legion of Night. He's gone for the Grand Strategy Empire of Corpses, which means he needs to return 3 summonable units to the board by the end of the game, basically. So that's a 3-up roll in his movement phase, or a 4-up roll in his opponent's movement phase. So multiple opportunities in order to do this. I've also been reliably told as well that JJ has not been playing this correctly. He's been rolling only 4-ups.
So he's been hamstringing himself.
He's been hamstringing himself because he was like, I wonder, why have I not been getting this Grand Strat? And it's because he's not been rolling the 3-ups in his own movement phase. But don't worry, it's all been ironed out now.
Helps if you read your own book.
Look, it happens, guys. It happens. But even though he's been literally comping himself, he's still been doing very, very well.
Yes, JJ's been very,
exactly.
very
4 wins in the weekend. 3 wins in the weekend so far and a draw. So Very good. And then in terms of leaders for Will, he has gone for Manfred, obviously. For those of you who don't know, Manfred has got the shenanigans of instead of redeploying, he can just charge you. He also has strike first when he charges as well, so nice little tech piece there. He's got Waste Away, amazing spell. It means it gives a unit -1 to wound and -1 damage as well, so can be really bad for an enemy unit. We've then got a Necromancer there as well. He's the General, which is interesting. Usually we see the General and the Vampire Lord. Yeah, which is interesting. But he's still got Unbending Will. Maybe he's just worried that he thinks that maybe he's going to be using his Vampire Lord for teleporting shenanigans, and therefore would just like to keep him, like to keep the Necromancer just nice and tucked in with all those zombies, giving out the +1 to contest versus an objective, strong. Which is so strong with that many zombies. He's also got Hoarfrost on there. Stick that in a pack of zombies, can get them. You can either get them hitting on 2s, which is great because it then means that the wounding on 6s from the corpse cart, you've got a much higher opportunity to do that. Or you could just give the zombies 3 rend potentially as well. Yeah, so it's just little things.
Does get through, we'll just shoot it.
Just little things like that. And then so we've then got 2 Vampire Lords. One of them's got Spirit Gale. This is the one that does mortal wounds to every enemy unit on the table. If he casts 10 or more, he will do 2 mortal wounds to every unit on the table, which is nice. And then the Vampire Lord, here he is, Morbig's Claw and the Merciless Blizzard. So this is your teleporting Vampire Lord who will just be going in and hopefully blizzarding things off. So obviously both opponents have this tech, so they both need to make sure that they stay nice and screened out. Then for battle line, oh baby, we have 2 40s of Dead Worker Zombies, 2 20s of Dead Worker Zombies, 10 Direwolves, 2 3s of Fellbats, and then for other units we have 2 Corpse Carts. For Legion of Night, for those of you who don't know, they have a strategy where if you charge a unit in Legion of Night, you can pick a unit who is not within 3 inches of that enemy unit that charged. They can then charge back, and it means that it's a way of basically screwing with your opponent's battle tactics, or screwing with your opponent to be able to put the damage projection into those zombies, really.
Yes.
So Fellbats are great for this because they are tiny bases and they fly, so you can get them into places. We actually saw this in Game 3 yesterday, where JJ countercharged with 3 Fellbats to stop 6 Plague Drones getting into 40 zombies, which was crippling for Stu. He couldn't put anywhere near the right amount of damage into that unit to lift it, so really cool stuff. And he's got 2 Corpse Carts, so usually we only see the 1 Corpse Cart, but he's gone for 2, I guess just to make sure that he's got redundancy. And he can potentially move up like 2 castles instead of just the 1 castle, so that's quite cool. He's got an Acolytes battalion, so he's potentially getting more primal dice, which is nice to really force through things like Blizzard. And he's in 2 battle regs, so he's a 4-drop, 2,000 points in the nose, so no Triumph for Will. So interesting, that one there.
I like it.
Onto JJ's list. It's very similar in terms of Grand Strat, exact same Grand Strat. He's went for Indomitable, which he will be getting because he's only 1970 points, so he will be getting his Ignore Battle Shock once per game. And then much the same, we've got Vampire Lord with Unbending Will, Morbig's Claw. So he's made the Vampire Lord the General in this list.
Much more common to see that.
Which is, you see that a lot more. Will's slightly more skewed. And then he's got Manfred and 1 other Necromancer. So he's got 1 less hero than Will, but because of that he is able to fit in slightly more zombies. So we've got 40 zombies, another 40 and a 20, whereas Will only got 2 40s, 2 20s. JJ's got 3 40s, 1 20, but he has paid for it in that he doesn't have another unit of Fellbats, but Will does. He's still got the 10 Direwolves, but then JJ's got a wee bit more tech because he's got, instead of taking double Corpse Cart, he's went for 1 Corpse Cart. He's got Virkos Bloodborne. These are little vampires, unit of 3 of these guys, and they've got a pre-game move, which is really nice. 10-inch pre-game move, which is awesome. And then he's got 4 Murmur Banshees to try and protect against any magic casting that happens. He's also got Suffocating Gravetide as well. And I meant to actually say, just to check if... Yes, sorry, I forgot to mention Will has Gravetide, and he's got the Maelstrom as well to help get some mortal wounds as well. Now, both players having Gravetide is awesome for them facing zombies, because that does a lot of work into zombies.
It's awesome for us because it'll speed things up.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we could just see, yep, that's 40 zombies gone, and it will speed up the game. Now, obviously the guys are on a clock, so really time is of the essence here. They've got a lot of models to chuck around the place. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of pile-ins, a lot of attacks that pretty much can do a lot of nothing sometimes. So they need to be very careful with their time management, because we don't want to clock out here as well. But then that is the list. It's a 2-drop. So JJ had the choice of who goes first. JJ will be taking first, I believe. Yeah. So let's just have a wee double check in with the lads, and we'll see if they've in the battle tactics. So we'll see if they've actually finished setting up. So we can see here, looks as if, so we've got Will at the top of the screen, and we've got JJ at the bottom of the screen. JJ going for more of a kind of almost like null deploy, but I think that's because if he is picking first, he will just decide where the zombies go coming out the grave sites. We can actually see there's 4 grave sites that I can see here. So we've got one here, one here. We've got a grave site down here, and we've got another one, a bit more over here. Okay. Now I do wonder, because I can only see 4 grave sites, I wonder if we're maybe going to have a gentleman's agreement that they just use the same grave sites.
I think so.
Possibly, yeah. Which means that they don't have to put out 8, or it could also be just in the rules that if there's a Soulblight Gravelords player, that there is only 4 grave sites. I'm not sure. But yeah, so keeps things simple as well. And it looks like they're in a good position here that they can threaten pretty much any objective on the board as well. The grave sites do need to be outside 12 inches of each other, so they've gone for this kind of a weird L-shape, Tetra shape here to give them the best frontage possible. So yeah, it looks like Will has got his kind of big old castle set up here. Lots of zombies. We've got the 2 corpse carts in behind. Corpse cart over here. It looks like he's got Manfred sitting up nice and proud right there as well, and he's got the 10 dogs, bark, over at the side there as well. So yeah, and then JJ, let's see what's happening here. Looks like JJ is bringing out 3 Fellbats. So that could well be, we could well be into JJ's turn here. So we'll double check with the lads, and we'll see. So let's check up on chat first of all, see if there's anybody here. So we've got Thomas saying he stripped down and rebuilt a ride-on lawnmower engine last week with little mechanical experience. I still don't understand strength of schedule. I like that one, Thomas. So for those of you who don't know, your strength of schedule is based on who you have played and how well they have done in their games, and then it's kind of like basically, I don't know the calculation behind it, but essentially it's this big old calculation where how well your opponents have done against their own opponents, and so on and so forth, and then you're able to generate this number. The higher the number, the higher the strength of your of your schedule has been. So basically, the higher the number means that you've probably played. So if you've got a very high strength of schedule or a very high number, it means that you've probably played 5 opponents that are all pretty good Warhammer players. Because they themselves have all went and got on their win. And you find a lot of the time when tournaments where strength of schedule is a tiebreaker, it's much better. You actually end up rooting for your opponents. So you want to beat them, but then after you've beaten them, you're like, so say we're at a tournament, Kyle, and I was to beat you, or you were to beat me, we would then probably root for each other, because it's like, well, I've beaten you, but I want you to go 4-1 because you'll bump up my strength of schedule because of how well you're doing, and vice versa. So yeah, very interesting. I like it as a tiebreaker. I think it's probably my favourite tiebreaker, actually. It does take into account how well you've done, because somebody could go 5-0 and their strength of schedule could be particularly low, which generally could mean that maybe they haven't played as good players as somebody else who has had a much higher strength of schedule. So it's actually a really good way of working it, because singles is so random. It's a random draw each round. Obviously you're playing against people that are the same score as you, so they've won the same games as you usually. Sometimes people have to play up or down depending, but I like it. I think it's a fair way to determine strength of schedule. Yes. Okay, so here we go. So JJ's bringing out some more stuff here. So Thomas, I hope that's explained that a wee bit. I don't know the exact calculation, but yeah, you can maybe ask somebody who knows a bit better. Someone's saying NOS 40k, whoever gets first turn should win. So that's very bold. So he's basically saying that if JJ gets first, he should win, because it means that he'll be able to take up board. However, it does mean that JJ is within range of things like Gravetide.
Yes.
So if he wants to really rock up and pin Will back, it means that Will is in range to be able to start flinging spells and try and clearing through those zombies. So yeah, very interesting here. We're on Geomantic Pulse as well, folks. So yeah, really fun. And for those of you who don't know, it means that you have to. So at the start of battle round 2, whoever's going second in that battle round gets to pick which of the outside, the very far, either the far left objective or the far right objective. So either this objective here or this objective here, and they get to activate them. So we call that basically the pulse, yeah. And each turn the pulse will move one along down the line, and you get points for scoring the pulse. You get points for scoring any objectives adjacent to the pulse. You get points for scoring at least one objective, and you can get points for scoring your battle tactics. So the maximum you can get per turn on this is 7. So you can't score the pulse turn 1 because it's not active, but you can still get your point for holding at least one objective and your battle tactic. So yeah, very interesting for this one. I have kind of heard differing tactics on how to play this mission. You can either pick the pulse and try and control it early doors, or you can pick the pulse and set up so that you're in a strong position to control it from turns 3, 4, and 5 as well. So yeah, interesting one to try and maximise the score and block off your opponent from blocking them off from scoring so much primary. So catching up again with chat, we've got Northern Invasion Scott. Hi Scott Smith, he's saying chess clock is the star of the show here. Correct, it is the star of the show. We'll be keeping an eye on that. The chess clock is currently right up here. That's the most important model on the table right now. Because these two guys, either of these people do not want to clock out. For those of you who don't know, a chess clock is used to determine, how much time of the game that you're able to use. So both players here have received 1 hour 20. We also gave them the 5 minutes spare at the start of the game for setup. So right now it's just full on clock. There's no breaks or pauses in between. And if you clock out, the only thing you're allowed to roll is saves.
Yes,
you're not allowed to do anything. You're not even allowed to pick battle tactics. You just roll saves. So if someone was to clock out in this game, it's a huge advantage for their opponent because their opponent can still do stuff and score points. So, yep, very cool. Alan George is saying, is Curtis representing for the FEC this weekend? Yeah, he is, absolutely.
2 FEC players.
Yeah, there's Curtis and there's also James Cross. Yeah, they're both playing FEC. We'll see how they're getting on. We can check in with the draws for this round as well. Alan's saying he's hiding from the sun, painting Nurgle this weekend. Oh yeah, I actually have seen some of your Nurgle, Alan. I saw you post it up. It looks amazing. So thanks for that.
Scott going in with a little bit of the maths there, saying the strength saving metric for the player is the sum of their opponent's wins divided by the number of the opponents that the player has played against.
Perfect. That's fantastic. That's good. Thanks so much for that, Scott. That's good to know.
Now go play your game.
No. Well, unfortunately, Scott has had to drop this weekend due to some personal issues. Sorry, we do.
Sorry to hear.
No, we do hope all is well. He did manage to poke his head in this morning, but then unfortunately had to head up the road. But luckily we have a good supply of spare players here for the weekend, which is really good.
With the corn
today. So Chris with the corn was able to answer the call, and he was able to come in and play the game. So hope all is well, Scott, and thanks for joining us on stream. Yeah, absolutely. We've then got Owen Jackson saying JJ getting choice to turn could literally win him this game in his opinion. Yep, I mean absolutely, it's hugely strong here. Will is a very good player, however. I would not count Will out whatsoever. He would have been already thinking in his head how he's going to deal with the fact that JJ takes first, because he's a 4-drop, he's a 2-drop, and he also has been playing. I mean, they're both part of the club Steamed Warhams, aren't they? Yes. So no doubt they've been getting multiple reps in against each other. Will's a very good player. He comes from a War Machine background, so a very good technical player, and he's very good with his timings. He ran zombies for quite a few tournaments, and I don't think he ever once went to time. As just a very, very good player, and he knows what he's doing. So hopefully he can try and think his way out of this situation, because JJ is really putting on the pressure here and just full board control at this stage. NOS 40k saying just throw every primal dice against Gravetide. Yep, absolutely. I'm sure that's what JJ's probably got in mind as well. So we'll see if Will manages to get this off. It's quite pivotal that he does get Gravetide off. Yep. And then thanks so much, Scott, there. So we will have a wee chat with the lads just to check what battle tactic JJ's gone for. Just to make sure we've got all that information nice and tight for you guys. So we know that the JJ's on 2 CP. We know that Will should be on 3 CP as well. And we'll just have a wee quick shout in with the lads just now to see how they're getting on. Okay, so just a wee update there from JJ. So he has finished his turn. He did go for a surround and destroy as his battle tactic, which he has got. We can see there that he's got it with his Virkos Bloodborne. He looks like he's left Manfred back wholly within 6 inches of his own board edge, and he's gotten it with the 3 fell bats up in the right hand board edge there. So he's got surround and destroy. He's held at least 1 objective. He can't get any points for the pulse this round, so it's a max of 3 points per opponent here. Be very interested to see what Will goes for in terms of battle tactic, actually.
Might try and mirror it, but I'm not too sure. He doesn't have the flexibility that JJ seems to have.
That's the thing. Well, he does also, but he does have a Vampire Lord that can teleport.
Yes.
And it looks as if, well, I think JJ's certainly taken that into account, because we've got some screening happening, kind of going behind at the back. So let's just see what's happening here. Yep. So they're just rolling for I think primal dice just now, just to make sure that they've got the correct quota of primal dice. And I'll just type up there that we did go for surround and destroy with JJ. Very quick turn 1 from JJ. There's not really anything else to do in his position. Should be a longer turn for Will, as he's got a lot more things to kind of move up, potentially things to charge, potentially things to try and Gravetide off as well. Yeah, for sure. Gravetide and Blizzards, maybe 2 of the things that he's looking to try and get here. Okay, so I can see that he is measuring up. Owen saying 2 tape measures from JJ. It's a solid flex. Absolutely. I don't know why he's actually stolen one of the spare tape measures that we had sitting on the commentary table for those of us who have either forgotten a tape measure or have lost it. But yeah, he's just going double tape measure right now, and I think this definitely is probably a psychological move from JJ.
It's showing it's a literal measuring contest that we've got going on here.
Absolutely. Whose zombie is bigger? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I think Will is just measuring up here. Potentially, if he was to auto-run those fell bats, can they clear the other fell bats to get them in surround and destroy position? Because that would be big. Fell bats with 14, so a 6 gets them a 20. That's very, very far. I thought that maybe JJ had screened out that entire edge there, but he might have made a boo-boo here. Just checking the back of the base. And he's obviously, Will's just reminding JJ that he can just teleport one of his vampires to get it to a board edge as well. I think JJ is potentially saying back that he has screened out the corners to try and stop that. He has kept that in mind. Sounds like he's maybe just thinking about doing one of the book battle tactics of Grave Lords, which is have a summonable unit that is outside of combat, get into combat and then survive. I think potentially, which is the I can't remember what it's called, but it should be very doable because he thinks that bats just don't kill bats. So yeah, 3 bats versus 3 bats could just be a bit of a slap fight, a bit of a tickle fight. But we'll double check that battle tactic just now. So lots to consider, because a lot of the time your battle tactic sequencing can just decide a game. Led into the Maelstrom is the one he's decided to go for. So that's charge a hero, charge a battle line. That's what he was debating. Because the Soulblight battle tactics, actually you have to pick a summonable unit that's already in combat
within 3 and
then remain. So that's a Grasping Dead. Whereas now he's going for led into the Maelstrom, so he's going to charge with the bats that are battle line into the other bats. He's basically thinking that they'll
just bounce off each other.
They won't kill each other. And then he's probably going to charge Manfred into one of those blocks of zombies, and then Manfred's not going to kill 40 zombies, so they should be there as well. So it should be that he's got this battle tactic wrapped up. He does also need to think about trying to get control over one of these objectives, which he should be able to get by just auto-running some zombies onto, looks like this objective here is probably the most easily gettable.
Yes, fewest bodies are on that one.
Sure.
Obviously the other big unit is spread across the 2, so obviously it's a very smart move from JJ, so regardless of what pulse position it is, he will be able to control one of them that's next to the pulse, because he'll get to pick which one they'll contest. So we'll have a quick look though, but Manfred's probably going to come up and clear a good few off of them. Yeah,
he'll do his best for sure. I do really like the how JJ has set up this turn 1, because he's put a heck of a lot of bodies on this objective and a heck of a lot of bodies on this objective, because these are the two chosen for the pulse. So either way, so for example, if Will was to go second in the battle round for the next battle round, and then he gets to decide where the pulse is, either way JJ's in a great position, either for the early game or the long game, because he could either score the pulse early on with that many bodies, or he could also wait for the pulse to get along to him, and then he's scoring them late game as well. So obviously very good setup from JJ. Okay, so let's look. We've got some very pivotal roles coming up now, because we've got magic. So let's see what we've got. Whatever it is a miscast, so double ones there. D3 mortal wounds. That's unfortunate for him. I hope that wasn't Gravetide.
Oh, here comes the blizzard.
Blizzard. So let's see how many primal dice he's going to chuck into this. Chucks another 1. 13.
13.
So JJ needs to decide how many primal dice he wants to try and use to stop this.
He's just rolling some board saves, it looks like, from something else.
Looks
first.
like potentially Spirit Gale went off, I think
so,
which
yes.
is a lot of kind of
looks
man
like it went off on
management.
more than a 10 because he's rolling double for each of them.
It looks like JJ's about to stop. This looks like he rolled a 6 and a 1 and a 5, then another 5, so
no blizzards.
No blizzards. Yeah, we'll just say the miscast.
That miscast is probably quite large there, probably
really
definitely
hit.
knocked out what he wanted to do.
Again, it looks pretty low there. Is that 4 and 1? Looks like another primal dice coming out to play. Another 4. So 17 cast here. We'll double check what the spell is in a wee second. JJ's doing a lot of measuring here. 17 cast. Kel just going away to check there. Yeah, Kel's going for a wee break, and he'll also check. Check for us what spells have been cast and what haven't been cast. So it was the Maelstrom, the Malevolent Maelstrom that was the miscast. So unfortunately, no AoE mortal wounds from the Maelstrom. Yeah, and so we've still got we still have Gravetide potential. It looks like a healthy. Sorry, this looks like it's the Blizzard cast, so I think JJ did manage to top Gravetide. Looks like that was the Blizzard cast there, so I think the only spell that went off that entire phase was Spirit Gale. So Mystic Shield also stopped, Maelstrom stopped. Sorry, Maelstrom was a double 1. Very interesting. So not a great magic phase for Will. NOS 40k saying he might be too defensive in the middle, which gives Will a lot of space to play on. Most of the points happen in the middle. Believe it's a trap to play for the sides. Possibly. Yep, absolutely. When you think about it, yep, you'll have 2 turns of the pulse being in those 2 middle objectives, and then playing for the adjacents as well. So we'll see here if Will does just fully collapse the middle and potentially try to just give up the sides. So we'll see what happens there. I do still quite like the strategy of setting up at least over kind of one half of the board, one half of the objectives, and potentially waiting for the pulse to come to you. I do quite like that, and you get a lot of control there. A lot of the time, trying to go alpha to the where the pulse is at the start of battle round 2 can end up that the pulse gets away from you. So interesting to see what he does here. So just Kyle, just a nice little recap there. I think the only spell that went off was a Spirit Gale.
Oh, okay, that explains why he was rolling the ward saves.
Mystic Shield was stopped. Maelstrom was stopped. Sorry, Mystic Shield was stopped. The Maelstrom was a miscast.
That was the miscast.
The 13 that I believe that the 13 that Will rolled, I think that was for Gravetide. And then he attempted to try and do Blizzard at the end, because I heard him say might as well try it for Blizzard, and that did not go off as well. So
right.
I think the important thing to note is the only thing that went off was a Spirit Gale.
Right.
So not a good start.
Yeah, as we expected.
Not a good magic
all
phase
the
from
primal
Will.
dice at that Gravetide. Massive to stop that. Which I suspect that if JJ does win the priority, Will also be trying to do to stop.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely, because he'll definitely be in a position here. So interesting to see where Will is going to start moving. His zombie horde. So we're kind of thinking, does he want to just kind of collapse and push straight up the middle and ignore the sides, or what does he want to do here? We need to make sure we're getting a battle tactic as well. So he has to charge a hero. We need to make sure he's charging a summonable unit as well, which I think he's already got pegged up for the bats. He's going to have some bat-on-bat violence, and he's got Manfred, who could easily charge either one of these two zombie units, either over in this flank here, or even he could go into the ones in the middle there as well. So even with a redeployed JJ, it's going to be a hard push to stop the battle tactic, but looks like it's going to be 3 apiece at the end of battle round turn 1, and then it's a big roll-off for turn 2. To then see who's going to decide where the pulse starts, and then but there could be a double potential, or it could just be JJ stays in the driving seat. We'll see what happens. We're going to take this opportunity while Will is moving lots of models to maybe chat about some of the other draws, some of the other tables that are happening just now. As we already discussed, we do have Mr. Nathan Watson versus John Bayliss right now as well. Both those players undefeated, so whoever wins that game is going to be 5-0, and is then going to be pressing potentially Will, if he wins here, to the 5-0, the top spot.
Yes, Nathan's a bit concerned. He did drop 3 battle tactics in his game against Callum.
Yeah,
I think it was Scott. Was it? Sorry, against Scott. And because of that, just put him in a little bit of a worse place with the strength of schedule.
Yes,
but still, it's going to be a good classic matchup, isn't it? Just John versus.
Well,
Nathan.
yeah. So Nathan and John will joke most of the time that they will play each other at a tournament no matter what. So it has came to fruition yet again. And yeah, Nathan has said that he's been quite frustrated with the number of battle tactics he's been dropping. He basically brought Be'lakor for some control, but also to get a wizard in his list to try and get magical dominance. He's then played Seraphon 3 times. In fact, this could be his fourth?
This is his 4th Seraphon.
4th,
yeah,
that's right, because he's played Richard, he's
playing
playing Raffle, he's played John, and he's also played, oh gosh, who else did he play? Yeah, I think this is...
Andy.
Yes, Andy Pennington as well. Wow, so... now the thing is with that is you can probably never do magical dominance because they have board-wide unbinds and can chuck primal dice at that as well. So that's another battle tactic gone there. So he's going to be kind of a hard push to make sure he maintains his battle tactic game. Corn does have some good battle tactics in there, but John also will be pretty canny of them as well. So things like killing a unit within range of the blood shrine, things like that. So we need to make sure that he tries to not give Nathan too many easy battle tactics, and if he screens well enough, he could actually screen out board edges to stop surround and destroy.
Yes,
he could pin Nathan in to stop intimidating invaders. Nathan does love a lead into the Maelstrom, but that can also be sometimes stopped as well.
Absolutely. If you can overcompensate with it, and or you could die completely.
Exactly. So very spicy one over there. We've then got Richard McQuarrie to Raffle Colban. The Seraphon players get to play each other, and this is karma, I think.
Yes.
So quite right, they get to play each other.
But it's Coalesce versus Starborn though, so it is the difference up. Although Richard and Raph, they do normally get paired up at least once a week against us, just because we have so many Seraphon players at Broken Realms regularly that we have no option. We do have an agreement basically that one of the 2 games that we have each week, the Seraphon players will have to play off against each other because no one else wants to play them.
Quite right, quite right. So that'll be an interesting one there as well. The raffle does have alpha potential here because his lore drops in Richard, so he could just smash those Agrodons right up into his face and kind of say deal with it. So we'll see how that goes. We then got Andy Pennington versus Alistair Maxwell. So that is Seraphon versus OBR, but not anti-magic OBR because Alistair is running Mortis Praetorians. So
Andy is actually quite happy with. He did beat Null Myriad earlier on as well.
Nice.
He was in his game against Nathan later on. He did say that Nathan rolled more 5-up spell ignores than the Null Myriad player rolled 2s. So.
Well, that's just classic Nathan. He also is using the Call to Arms dice as well, guys. So if you want to buy those, no.
they are weighted.
They are weighted dice. So that's fine. We've got Seb Donnelly. He's running his Nurgle, I believe. I think Seb's come up with Nurgle. No, he's come up with Corn. Oh, fantastic. So we've got Seb Donnelly up with Corn. And he is... oh, wow, he's gone very... he's got 3 Blood Masters. Lots. Oh, this is the Bloodletter spam list. Oh, fantastic. So we've got Bloodletter spam. He's running into Tom Udale with Skaven. It's Tom we actually saw on the stream recently. Unfortunately, getting tabled by John Seraphon, but he is doing very well. It looks like he's on 3-1. Yes, so he's going to be hopefully going for the 4-1. We've then got Lee Martin versus Sean Murchie. Sean, I believe, lost. It was actually Sean that lost the game to Will in the last round.
Yes.
That's dropped him down to 3-1, and he's facing off against Lee, who's also on a tear right now. He's on 3-1 also. Lee lost to Tom Udale's Skaven in round 3 yesterday. He was then rewarded with more Skaven today, but he's managed to overcome that. His boogeyman, as he calls him, Skaven, for some reason for him. He does not like playing Skaven. Then we've got Hugh Hogg versus Sean Rickers. Is this a Trogoff?
I think so.
It's a Trogoff! Yes. Yay! So we've got a King's Gets Trogs list versus a Glog's Mega Mob Trogs list. So we'll see if the healing can overpower the resin back from the shrine, which is very cute. Very similar list actually, that one. But a few less Trogs than Ewan's list, a few more of the little grots, which is interesting to see. Then we've got Neil Montgomery. I want to shout out Neil. He's running Gotrek, Leviathan, and Idarith Deepkin. Ooh. So he's running the Nautilar sub-faction.
It's nice to see Idarith get some play.
Yeah, and he's been having a lot of fun, I think. And yeah, we've already heard that Seraphon Gotrek just took out, which went 5-0 at the Sydney GT, and now he's running Gotrek in his list as well. So very good to see. You can never keep the wee gingy man down. And he's playing against Craig Worsley, who's running Barak Thring, the Sky Dwarf. So very interesting, that one. I think you'll have a tough time trying to blast off Gotrek, but 15 Thunderers could do it, I think. Yes. The output from them
weight of dice
could just chew through that 3-up ward. And yeah, so there's a couple of honourable mentions there in terms of some spicy ones, and obviously the other potential 5-0 player either coming from Nathan or John up at the other table there. So we'll get back into the action now. Let's see the lay of the land. Near the end of JJ's turn, I think he's made some charges. Perfect. I think he decided against charging the bats, and he's just gone for the dire wolves into the zombies and Manfred into the zombies. This is pretty cool here because either way, the dire wolves are battle line, and you've got your Manfred the hero, and I don't think they're going to wipe those 40 zombies, which means that the battle tactics should be on here for led into the maelstrom, which is really cool. I think he's maybe keeping those bats back for some a later game, Surround and Destroy, possibly if he wins the Prion to turn 2, which is a good move. You do need to remember to how you're going to sequence your battle tactics. So it looks like he's all out attacking here with Manfred. Because this will spike. He's also got 3 bats in there as well up here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but he's got 3 bats, right here, charged into the zombies, and he's got the dogs in as well, and he's got Manfred in that area as well. So maybe he's just want to chew through these 40. Maybe he's going to try his best to chew through the 40 brick of zombies, potentially. Does need to be careful here in case he does.
He falls behind.
In case he does too well. In case he does too well, and
overcompensation.
And then
can
yeah,
be a
JJ just pulls
sometimes.
outside of 3 inches. I'm wondering if he's maybe got something else as a fail-safe somewhere else on the board. I can't quite see it. Those bats up in the back right corner. He's not done anything with them. He's not charged with them. That was the one that I thought he was talking about. The bats won't die. He's not made any other charges with zombies. So yeah, looks like all the action right now is just happening up here. So we'll see how many zombies he can chew through, and we'll see also if he can make sure that he's getting his battle tactic as well. No updates yet from Matt, but we have only just started round 5. Not expecting anyone to have finished their round just yet. Possibly Reese.
Well, yeah,
Possibly
he did play
Reese.
JJ in the last one. That took him almost a time. Zombies is not a good matchup for Reese, so he did struggle in doing that. He just weight of the bodies means he does no objective play, no primaries. Yeah, I'm interested to see who he's playing up next. I'm not actually sure if I remember. Oh, he's playing Iron Jaws. He's playing Big.
He's playing Big Wah. Yes, David Bishop Miller on Big Wah over there.
That's a good game. I played him round 5 in Tempest.
Oh, nice.
He's a really, really sound player, really good guy. It was his, Tempest was his first tournament up in Scotland.
Oh, nice.
And he loved that so much that he thought he'd come up here.
Coming back up again.
Broken Realms. So it should be a fun game because both Reese and David are really sound guys.
Yeah.
And they're just going to get into the middle and just smash them.
Well, I think both armies, the damage potentials just show huge from both of them, and battle tactics are plenty as well, really, for both of them
very
also.
Easy.
So yeah, that'll be a really interesting one. We'll see if Reese can smash or if Big Wah can smash as well. Really like Big Wah as an army. Really fun, ticking up those Big Wah points and just getting better and better and better. And then battle tactics for days right now as well, thanks to the buffs that Orc War Clans have got from the Battle Scroll. So very cool to see. Let's see what JJ's up to. We've seen some measuring. Still flexing with the 2 measuring tapes on there as well. Alan George coming in with the flame. He's saying his takeaway from the weekend is John Bayliss is the only person I've met since starting AOS who is thinner now than back in 2021. Yes, look, a lot of us are just carrying a little bit of holiday weight, okay? That's cumulative from all the holidays we've ever had.
Saving for your winter hibernation.
Absolutely. You need to look after yourselves, guys. It's called self-care. It could also be that most of the food that gets served at Age of Sigmar tournaments is deep-fried or beige, which we don't get a lot of
British
nutrients.
tapas.
We don't get, we do not. You know how when these people say like, "Oh, I'm having a freezer dinner," it just means that you're basically taking all the boxes of pakora and samosas and spring rolls and chicken nuggets out of your freezer, chucking them in the oven because you just literally can't be bothered making anything. It feels like that's basically what the staple diet is of most Scottish Age of Sigmar players. So we don't get a lot of nutrition. So that could have a kind of a definite factor on the weight categories of people up in Scotland at an Age of Sigmar scene. But as Phil has already said, the Glutos bod is the pinnacle, I would say, the pinnacle of
I can only aspire.
Body image. Absolutely. Just own it. I'm curvy and I like it.
I believe the correct term is now plus size.
Plus size. Okay. Looks like JJ's decided to pile in 6 inches with those doggos up on the right hand side. Looks like we've got side by side direwolf pile-ins here. I think both players are also kind of really. I spoke to both players at the start and they said, look, there's going to be a wee bit of co-op gameplay here right now because there's so much stuff to move around on this table that they might help each other with pile-ins. They might also pile in simultaneously as well just to try and speed the game up. But they are still going to use the clock and they're going to make sure that we're keeping track of that as well. But it looks like JJ's 10 direwolves have now piled into those zombies, those 28 brick of zombies that Will had positioned as a screen over here. And then we've also seen a pile-in of the dogs over here into JJ's 40 zombies on the flanks. So let's see how that pays off for him. Direwolves actually do have a decent attack profile for taking out zombies. 2 attacks each. I think it's 4s, no N1 damage. So out of a block of 10, you get 20 attacks. Not bad. Not bad. Against zombies, it's quantity, not quality. as we actually saw in JJ and Stu's game, where you're getting roughly 51 attacks total out of a unit of 3 flies, both in shooting and in combat, into a unit of zombies. So that has definitely got the right attack profile to just chew through swathes of zombies, which is very cool to see. I'll just update the score tracker there just to make sure that Will has definitely picked lead into the Maelstrom. Perfect. And obviously we'll give that a nice big Y if he gets it, a nice big N if he fails. Thomas back here saying his beige has always been his favourite flavour. Mine too. Absolutely. If you speak to Mike Callahan, he will definitely warn you of the dangers of trying anything other than beige food. Don't be tempted by the salad bar, folks. The salad bar just means bad things will happen to you.
Yeah, I've got to say, he was a lot of people who were quite bold, including yourself, bold eating the sandwiches here, I must admit.
See, I've always been a friend of sandwiches, but again, maybe, it's got salad in them. There was some salad in them sandwiches. But that's the 2-hour shout there from Matt. So we have 2 hours left. We've already been through 45 minutes, which you wouldn't actually think. It's kind of flown by, right?
Fast, yeah.
Not too bad. We'll still only have completed one turn. We're not even at the end of turn 1 yet, though. So we need to make sure that we are that these two lads are keeping track of their time. Okay, so we've just had the shout. It's 3 for Will. After turn 1, it's got a pretty big prio coming up here. Big in the fact that it will decide where the pulse is, and also if JJ hangs on to priority, or even if he'd like to win it and then give it to Will, so he chooses where the pulse goes. I
think JJ will be happy with either side.
Oh, so I think Will's rolled a big fat 1 right there. Yep. Perfect.
Right, so it looks like JJ's taking the pulse on the right-hand side here, after giving the turn away to Will.
So as discussed, how do we think of, will JJ win this and just give it away so he can control the pulse? And he's done exactly that. So JJ's won the prio, and he has chosen for the far right objective, which is this one right here. This is where the pulse is going to start. So what I might ask the chaps to do, if there's some way of accenting that pulse, just to keep us right at home, but yeah, we should be able to remember that as well. Thank you very much. JJ is using the brand new Broken Realm stickers that everyone at the tournament is receiving. He's using that as the pulse identifying marker. So very, very good from JJ there. Some good advertising. So yeah, we will score up. Well, he did get the 3 points, and he did indeed get led into the Maelstrom. Now it's his turn again. So the double's on, but it's what can he do with the double here? Because not much, I think, is the answer.
No, I
don't think he's getting the pulse.
Let's hopefully see he's maybe not miscast this time, and might try and get some more
for
out.
Sure.
But he's not going to be very happy. He's kind of been screened out. He's going to have all these zombies, if you can see, in the centre of his table edge there. He's not going to be able to squeeze them through between his zombies that are in combat with the direwolves and the zombies that are out of the combat already. And so he's going to have to go around the back if he wants to try to get through towards the pulse. So I think he might end up having to set himself up for the next round more than anything else.
I think personally here, if I was Will, I'd be really, really looking to consolidate. I'd try to push pretty hard into the middle and try and block off these objectives here for the late game.
Yes.
To try and make sure that we're scoring the pulse on those kind of later turns. He's already got stuck into this block of zombies here, which means that if he could chew through those and get rid of them this turn, then it means that we could have this totally freed up, and he could be blocking space for the later game. When the Pulse gets over to these two objectives here and here, it means that he's got the potential there to just get some decent points. So yeah, could be very, very cool there. I'm seeing that we're also hugely dropping some frame rates just now. No idea why. So apologies if there's been any interruption to the stream. Looks like it went very kind of buffery there. Hopefully they'll hold strong. Okay, so it looks like he's managed to get the Malevolent Maelstrom out. Which is good. He could potentially tick that up with some spell casts and try and get some Mortal Wounds put out into these zombies. Needs to try and do as much damage as possible, really. So I think Maelstrom out would be good. Gravetide out would be good. If he could Blizzard something, that would be good. And I'll also check... Oh my gosh, I just heard he does miscast. Let's see. So we've got Wind of Death can be cast from Manfred now as well. Okay, got another cast coming up as well. On a 12, that's a big one. Gravetide is out. Gravetide is out. Here it comes. JJ decided not even. That he's not even going to bother. I don't think he even bothered rolling an Unbind for that one
there.
There.
If they got any primal or not, maybe. So.
Could be. That was a big old.
That's big for
cast.
Will.
12 on the cast there. I think he must have popped Morbig's Claw to get +2. So yeah, that's huge for Will. He had a really bad turn one. He's trying to cast Hoarfrost. Oh my gosh, he's rolled boxcars there for Hoarfrost. Wow. And I don't think, JJ's not even going to bother. So if he has popped his Morbig's Claw, that's a +2. That's a cast on a 14 Hoarfrost. It's going to pop in the zombie brick. Sorry, Matt. Can I grab that? Thank you so much. Matt was actually trying to take a sheet of paper away. That's very important because we're going to talk about the prizes that are on offer for the tournament. So we'll just wait until JJ's finished his magic phase and then goes into the movement phase because I don't think we want to watch him move that many zombies. But certainly, let's see what happens here. So it looks as if he's trying to whittle down this block of zombies over here. He'd like to get them gone and have full control over this objective here, and then he could consolidate and try and take this objective here as well and just have full control over that side, that half of the board. I think he might have to just give up the Pulse for the first couple of turns and then just hopefully claw those points back in the late game. Yeah, Owen's saying, yeah, exactly our thoughts as well, Owen. He's saying, interesting decision. JJ might have the early game score, but if Will can collapse the left and centre, then he can win in the late game, absolutely. So right now, I'd really like to see Will just push this castle right here, just right into this middle area here, and hopefully try and block off these two objectives for basically turns 3, 4, and 5, and then try and get the late game scores, which would be really, really big for him. He's obviously got the double here, so the ability to remove models, to start removing all those zombies from JJ's army is on. Looks like Gravetide's whittled through a good few zombies. Maelstrom's also ticked up, and that Maelstrom has just been flung into JJ's lines as well. So that's gonna blow up in his face and hopefully do some mortal wounds. I will just get a wee chat from JJ to see what battle tactic Will has gone for as well. Yeah, so the battle tactic that Will's gone for is Cursed Unlife. You can put this tactic if any wounds allocated to your general or to 2 other friendly vampire units are healed. using the Hunger ability this turn. So he's basically said that he just needs to do 1 damage with Manfred here.
Nice and easy then.
Should be nice and easy. Interesting to see how he... so it's 2 other vampire units. So I'm wondering how he's going to get the other one healed up as well.
Not and, it's all. So it's...
yeah, so what would his other vampire unit be that he's going to try and heal with the Hunger?
So... it's to your general or to your other 2 vampires. So if the person you're trying to heal is not man-fed, it would need to be 2 units. Because it's not your general, sorry. So it's, yeah. Wait, oh no, because his general is, no, you're right. So is it Vampire Lord then, you think?
Possibly. I'm trying to think of how JJ has taken any wounds on any of his other heroes as well. So we'll double check with the lads. Just been told there by JJ that it was a 4-inch redeploy just used on those zombies in the middle here. So very nice, very quick work from JJ there, just pulling those zombies back 4 inches. So I think that's happened over there. Cool. We'll get a wee update from JJ here as well on this battle.
So it looks like Reese Fraser has finished his game.
Oh wow, we called it. We called it, guys. Yep.
32 to Reese, 21 to David.
32 to 21.
Both achieved 5 battle tactics, but Reese managed to obviously get his grand strategy.
Perfect.
As well.
So Owen's saying that Manfred is War Master, so he gets it from him.
That's it. I thought there was something that I was.
So I'll get it to your general. So it was interesting because I thought that any battle tactic that asked for your general, I always believed, I thought it was that your chosen general,
no, it does,
not just
some
if you're a general.
Will specifically say the model chosen to be your general.
Got you.
Which is why the Slanesh one, you can pick 3 models to be your general and still get away with it. Fantastic.
So War Master, he's treated as a general in a Soulblight Gravelord's army. Perfect. Right. Okay. So that's nice and easy there. So just needs to, if he does. Pardon me, if he kills 1 zombie, if Manfred can kill 1 zombie, he gets his battle tactic. So nice and easy there for Will to try and get. So it looks like we are moving on up. He is pushing as deep as he can into all those objectives there. Moving the corpse carts up as well. We'll make sure that Will is accredited for the battle tactic as well. So it's Cursed Unlife is what it's called. So we'll get that typed up as well. Perfect. And I believe JJ should be down to 2 CP now with a redeploy, unless obviously I had one in hand for my heroic action. So we'll just double check from JJ just now as to how much CP. Yeah, just double checking that. So 2 CP for JJ and 2 for Will. Okay. So we're going for some charges now. Can you do maybe okay, so it looks like Will has just so he's rolled up a charge. And looking like he's just looking to see how many zombies he can get into those dire wolves. And in classic fashion, someone has kicked the camera. And none other than our co-host Kyle has kicked the camera. Oh my god. So we'll get that sorted as well, and then we'll come back to the action in just a wee second. Yep, so hold on a wee second, thank you all. So, Kyle, how did we get on with that little task I set you to go up and take some dice out of the tray?
Well, I broke my ankle chipping. It was inevitable that I would inevitably hit the camera. Everyone's done it at some point during the day.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I've lost track. I think I was definitely up to at least double figures on the trip count on that.
It's good to see though, so we know for the next time that we do it, we definitely need to move the table even further away.
I think we just need a separate room. Where it's just the two people. I mean, but even so, people that have been playing on the table have also, when they walk around to summon stuff on the other side, they're just absolutely rattle it as well.
Yeah, the tripods are large, but you'd have thought maybe.
You'd think.
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd be able to get through.
You'd think. But anyway, no, I just thought we'd highlight that one. That was nice. But are you okay? Is your ankle okay?
I'm fine, but you might see when you've been framed for £250 when I trip over and.
See, no, but I need a different camera angle for that to see you tripping. all the people saw at home was just the camera go. Bleh.
Well, thankfully, no one else saw it. It's quite embarrassing.
Fantastic. Right. So while JJ and Will are chatting about zombie pylons, dire wolf pylons, and all such nonsense, we're going to run through because. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about the trophies and prizes that are on offer for the weekend as well. So we have a plethora of prizes. So if you're able to bag first place, and as we know, Will could be on for first place potentially if he was able to win this game here, or either Nathan or John could be on for first place as well. They win the trophy, which looks stunning, and they get a model up to the value of £100, commission painted by Minis for War, who are a fantastic commission painting company out of Poland.
We've seen some very nice models coming from them.
Extremely nice.
A Lariel done the last time, and before that it was the KO Ironclad.
Yes, I remember John.
That was
got
it.
The
John
Ironclad.
that managed to get that.
Yeah.
Very nice model.
Absolutely stunning.
They did that.
Yeah, so awesome from them. Second place also gets second place trophy, and they get a model up to £50, and that is also painted by Minis for War. And then third place gets a trophy and then also a model painted as well for them, up to £30 value for the model. We've then got a prize for best painted. They win a trophy and they win a voucher as well. So fantastic from them. For best sports, Stu West from Northern Invasion, he is very kindly going to be donating a trophy for the best painted. So there's the Northern Invasion badge that is given out as well for that. Now for the wooden spoon, for the person who comes in dead last, they will be walking away with something. It won't be a wooden spoon, but it will be a prize. It will be a box of minis. We don't know which box yet, but it will be possibly a kind of a start collecting box in there, which would be fantastic. We've also got a prize for either the most incomplete or the funniest list.
Yes, so Matt and I did pour over the lists over the one night during list submission, and there were an incredible amount of mistakes and things that had been made through several players. Merciless blizzard to things that shouldn't be having it. Yep. But that is a problem through fault of people playing and building on the app, not anything else, because it does allow you to take it from the law. We've had people not taking grand strategies, choosing not to have any triumphs when they could get one. We've had people mix and match all sorts of different things, wrong battalions. I did actually have someone trying to take a bounty hunters battalion. that was great. So I was like, you please put your new GHB in the app.
Oh, fantastic. That's 2 books ago.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. So anyway, so there's a prize for them as well, and there's also a prize for there's another potential prize that it could be given out as well. So there could be something for either like a mid-table master type thing. There are some other spot prizes that could be given out. For example, we have those storage boxes or
magnetic
cases. Well, they're the cases. They're also foam inside as well, I believe. I think Matt opened it up and it looks really, really nice. So just thought I'd give you guys a wee update on what there is to play for. So let's get back to the action. We'll see the lay of the land just now. So I know it might be getting a wee bit confusing because it's just zombies on zombies, but I believe what it looks like here is Will has still got, let's have a look, see here. Okay, yeah, fantastic. So Will is still chewing through this block of zombies over in this objective here. It looks like he has managed to chuck his zombies over here, deep into the mid board there. He's trying his best to just block off this objective, Luckily we can. It's quite easy. Well, I say easy. It is possible to determine, to tell which zombies are which. Will's got a much darker colour scheme for his zombies. Very dark bases. And then JJ's got more of a kind of an earthy, lighter tones here as well. So hopefully we can keep a wee track of that. But I think odds are on basically for Will to be getting his battle tactic for this turn, and for scoring another 3 points. I don't potentially if because he did manage to get some zombies in here, he might be able to get the pulse. Sorry, the one next to the pulse. Yeah, he might be able to get that point there. The only thing that JJ had on was dogs, was dire wolves, and I think he now outbodies the dogs in that objective with the zombies. So we'll see how many zombies those dogs can chew through. Potentially could hamper his ability to score an additional point. But I think the best case scenario here for Will is he walks away with 4 points. So 2 for his battle tactic, 1 for getting at least 1 objective and 1 possibly for the adjacent to adjacent to the pulse. Scott's also just mentioned as well, surely pleasure through pain for Kyle. Yeah.
Yes, well, sadly, no depravity points for myself there. Just embarrassment.
Just embarrassment. Oh, the depravity.
I'm actually taking a break from the Slanesh at the moment myself, though.
Ah, yes.
Nurgle is on the way.
Yep.
Much more fun than Stu and Phil's lists, I must say. No hundreds of bees.
The bees.
We're doing attempting to try and do a semi-null deployment with the Glotkin and Gutwat Sproon.
Ah, nice. That's cute. I like that.
You discovered that the Glotkin does fit within the 6 inches that you can do, and he does have the mortal keyword, despite looking as he does. So you can take him off the board.
Fantastic.
Which is just a nice little fun narrative Nurgle list.
Oh, absolutely. You love to see it. Glotkin, really great for denying opponents' battle tactics with the Blightcreek ability that he
very
has.
Good.
Very, very good. Can come in very clutch in certain situations. So yeah, I'd like to see that actually. That should be a nice fun list to run out, especially with the null deploy nature of it as well. That's pretty cool. I like that. So let's see what we're measuring out here. Looks like we've managed to chew through most of the zombies over on that point. I think that we could get full control, but I'm still seeing quite a lot here. Still seeing quite a lot of zombies there from JJ.
Yeah, it's hard to tell really what's actually happening until after it's happened.
Yeah.
Because so much is coming on and off.
The thing with Manfred, obviously, if he kills anything with that sword, he then procs the aura ability of summonable units. Also get an additional attack, I believe. I think that's something that he can still do. Let's see. So he's got the Sword of Unholy Power. Each time the unit fights, any wounds caused by this unit's Ebon Claws, Sickle Glaive, and Spectral Claws and Daggers must be allocated first, followed by any wounds caused by this unit's Geistvor. If any enemy models are slain by wounds caused by this unit's Geistvor, until the end of the phase, you add one to the tax characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Legion of Night summonable units, whether wholly within 12. So yeah, so it's nice. He could also dish out some additional attacks of the dogs that are next to him, or the bats that are next to him, helping to clear those zombies that are over on that objective, which is pretty cool. We used to see this used to a kind of advantage, either in the kind of older book he could do this as well. Obviously he also had his command ability where he could give out +1 to hit and wound in an aura as well, which was awesome. You saw this guy usually rocking in with maybe some Graveguard and things like that to really try and power them up. Or Blood Knights as well. But yeah, he's lost that in this book, but he's still a very good piece in a lot of these different lists, just as his ability to charge in the opponent's movement phase to try and just like block people, take up space, and then just stop them from being able to charge is huge. Okay, so let's see what we're discussing here between the lads. Looks like we're just rolling some dice for fun. Just going, you've got some zombies, I've got some zombies, let's just roll dice. It's the thing with this matchup, there are just so many dice rolls that just don't matter at all, because a lot of the attacks, the hits and wins from zombies are just going to do nothing.
They're just going to bounce off each other, and it's just going to be which tar pit can last the longest, which is why Will getting that Gravetide out was huge. So as I've mentioned in the chat, look, JJ's lost control of that board on the left-hand side now. So it's going to be interesting to see what his plan is to try and reclaim it as the pulse moves across the board in the subsequent battle rounds.
For sure. He's obviously going to have to spend cast to try and dispel some of these ender spells as well, potentially. Looks like Will hasn't procced the Maelstrom yet. Hasn't ticked up to 6 yet. Otherwise it would have disappeared and then done those AoE mortal wounds. JJ just piling in some dogs just now. He's piled them all in. Rolling some attacks. See how many zombies he can chew through. How many of Will's zombies he can chew through. So yeah, that Gravetide, gonna have to try and spend a cast to dispel. There's no guarantee that you do dispel. I mean, it is quite a low casting value.
Yeah, I think it's only a 6 or something.
There's still no guarantee that you do get shot of it. And if he doesn't, then that can again just proc again, and it can try and take out some more zombies.
Yeah, casting value of a 6.
Yeah.
So
Will then also has to be ready for JJ's Gravetide that he's going to want to try and put out.
And the potentiality of a double.
And a potential Blizzard and a double, yes, exactly. He could get the double back here. So let's just see what happens here. So looks like we're piling in some dogs. Yep. Used to maintain coherency and trying to get as many bodies on that point as possible to try and take it off of JJ. I think Will's got it here. With the Direwolves, with Manfred, and he's also got some of his own zombies that have managed to come to the party as well. I think that he's got this objective sewn up. I think he's got this one sewn up as well. Could potentially have this one sewn up as well, because he's maybe outbodying those zombies. Sorry, those Direwolves. So that would be good. He'd be in a good position there. If he can maintain priority, it could be very good for Will. And obviously the Pulse is heading his way in the late game. I think JJ is going to go up in points quite considerably, maybe the next 2 turns, as he gets control over the Pulse. Possibly.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be looking to get his own Gravetide out.
I think he's definitely going to get the Pulse here. And he could also get this back potentially as well and get the adjacent score as well. Get his own Gravetide out. So, yeah, it's all to play for right now. Thomas back here saying the old fantasy lore for the Glockkin is fantastic. It's really cool, actually. Yeah, very nice. I remember the end times, the Glockkin and Nurgle marching on. I think was it Marienburg? I think or something like that. And they managed to take over that town, and yeah, basically these 3 brothers all been kind of also almost melded into like this one entity. It was really, really cool. Okay. So yeah, how about Reese? You called it.
Yeah, so Reese will be finishing on a 3-2.
3-2.
Which he's okay with. Is a little bit disappointed in himself just for messing up that game 1, day 1.
Yep.
But that's what you get for drinking rum at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Well.
And he did also only have 1 hour sleep though. Lewis's sofa is not the most comfortable.
Oh my gosh!
And it was. As I can attest, I was in his house yesterday. It is roasting.
Oof.
So Reese is not a fan of the heat. So
no.
I think lack of sleep is massive in a game of Warhammer.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Your brain just kind of short circuits massively. So he's reigning champion has been dethroned. But he is running a less optimal list with his Sylvaneth lately. Just because he loves the Alariel model that he got commissioned so much. Loves her so much that he actually broke her this weekend.
Oh dear.
Sadly, she got knocked off the top when he was playing in the second game earlier on.
Yep.
So he's going to be looking to try and get that fix, I think, soon.
For sure. Also, another peril of drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning. You can your risk of dropping your own models just goes up exponentially.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. There's been quite a few casualties I've seen this weekend so far. Tape measures I've seen, 3 have been broken.
Three broken tape measures. Wow. And JJ's over here holding 2. Wow.
Maybe that's his plan. He's just going around breaking his opponent's tape measures, hoping that he can forward onto them.
Fantastic.
A lot of measuring going on at the moment.
Lots of measuring going on, absolutely.
Looking for some more pile-ins, I think, maybe, trying to see.
Well, I know that JJ's just piled in his zombie block here. He's piled them in, and I think he'll be looking to see how many
he can fit onto that objective.
Fit either onto that objective, trying to deny Will some space over there with the adjacent to the pulse. Looks like he might have nabbed it off of Will now, both with the direwolves and with the zombies as well. So things maybe not looking as rosy for Will here. Might just be able to walk away with 3 points this turn.
Still, 3 rounds to go, so he could potentially get
as early doors,
more,
for sure.
Especially in rounds 4 and 5 if JJ fails to break through that horde in the centre board and get rid of the Gravetide. So hopefully he's definitely, as we mentioned, going to be looking to bring out his own Gravetide, hopefully. Maybe throw a primal in if he can get one to prevent it from being stopped by Will. And maybe try and pop off that Maelstrom of his own, dispelling it, dealing back some mortal wounds back to Will in the process. For sure, for sure.
So that's 1 hour and 20 minutes call, I think, from Matt there. So that's us just under halfway in the round. Will just piling all these zombies in right now. Makes you wonder why these 2 players have decided on the armies that they have. If they genuinely enjoy them, or is it just for the love of the wins, do we think?
Well, Soulblight are a great army. Obviously, Will's been playing them since before they were good.
Yep.
So it's definitely, I feel like Will definitely has a big love for his Soulblight. Whether or not he loves 200 zombies, I don't know. I know he didn't love painting them.
Yep.
So that's for sure. And JJ has been floating around. Before he picked up Soulblight, he ran, he did a 3-0 with the Fire Slayers, and he also ran a couple of tournaments at the KO. And then before that, I think he did run the Night Vexillers with the Stormcast Eternals Mortal Wound Bomb spam, which was absolutely horrific for a wee while. So JJ maybe not as much love for the Soulblight as Will. JJ does like a win, but he's doing very well at the moment. He's definitely near the top of the Masters list at the moment, going into the next year, so he's probably looking to try and solidify that as much as possible. I
do think that I think both of these players, much like myself, I think they really enjoy a very oppressive style of army, where basically they're just counting on the fact they've got so many wounds on the table and can block you off, and it takes you forever to chew through that. Basically you just can't get through it. I know that beforehand I played Will when he was on Nurgle. He was running the Nurgle with the bees list. That was the and again oppression for that in that list as well. Taking up space, just being these big bodies that have got 5 up ward saves that it takes you forever to chew through, plus Be'lakor as well, again,
unmovable.
To be even more oppressive. And then JJ with the 5 Vexillor spam to just put out an oppressive amount of mortal wounds at range, then KO to put out an oppressive amount of shooting damage at range. I can see a theme kind of forming here between these 2 players, and it's clearly, I think, why they're doing so well as well. Like the style of armies, and the kind of overwhelming their opponent.
Definitely it's much more of an oppressive meta at the moment. Soulblight, OBR and Seraphon, it's how much damage can I put out without actually taking that much back. Seraphon, you've got the free hero phase for just doing as much as you can with the Mortal Rune spam in the hero phase. Soulblight, it's not necessarily all about the damage that you can do, it's about being the immovable object.
Just clogging up that board.
And as you mentioned, KO is KO, shooting across the range. So
luckily we're coming up with lots of things to talk about, JJ, to
No.
JJ was just talking. He was asking us, "Are we enjoying watching all the slow-moving zombies?" And I think the answer is probably no. But be interesting to see once the game kind of opens up. Hopefully, as things start to die, it'll be interesting to see kind of what they're going to try and do. Right now, I'd say probably the most exciting pieces that are on the board in terms of ability to do things like Manfred's, they're not really seeing much play right now. So yeah, it's just a case. This is just a slugfest. It's a grind.
Yeah,
It's an absolute grind here.
Just need to make sure that obviously with what's going on here, that neither player is in danger of timing out.
Yes.
Because Will's second turn is taking a lot longer.
Well, we're halfway through the round and we're only at the top of turn 2.
Yes.
So this is the issue with these kind of lists where, yeah, they are oppressive with the number of bodies they're in, but you are at risk of timing out.
Slow play becomes a big issue
for sure.
So I'm not actually a fan of spam lists in the slightest. It's not my personal cup of tea. I'm not a fan of slow play at all.
Yeah.
Like Reese, I favour a game that's over as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So that I can get drunk.
Bam bam, thank you, ma'am. We did kind of see the slow play issues coming out from likes of Zinch with Pink Horrors. We've seen that during the meta at some point as well. So yeah. Just so much to keep a track of right now for both players. There's so many different units, either in combat, basically all in combat with each other, tagged up with each other. And we can see that, Will has also tried his damnedest to get as many bodies onto this objective here to try and wrestle that back from JJ. JJ's doing his best to also deny that as well with the conga line of zombies right here. So we'll see kind of what's happened, but I can see here that it looks as if there's quite a lot of zombies there from JJ that's been cleared, or has potentially piled in kind of more to the right up into this little clump right here. But I do remember seeing quite a lot of JJ zombies like in that area there. So it looks like Will has done really well. Yeah, you can see how he's had to daisy chain around his Lenda spell to keep this block of zombies all in coherency with each other as well. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff you need to do when you've got that many bodies. You have to try and take up as much of the board space as you can, keep coherency. It looks like he's done not bad at trying to remove a lot of JJ's zombies there. Very interested to see how JJ's hero phase goes.
He could do a lot more. What he wants to do is obviously he wants to get rid of Gravetide.
Mm-hmm.
Maelstrom at the moment, you can try and get rid of that.
Looks like Maelstrom has ticked up to 6 just from so that's going to go off.
That's going to explode.
It's going to hit Will's zombies as well.
Yeah, JJ does have zombies there, but that's it. But it looks like one or two Will's units are going to get tagged. Gravetide going is the big one. I think that's what we want to see. If we can get a blizzard off, that would be nice to see.
Very spicy.
But really excited for this hero phase when it comes around.
When it finally arrives. And then we'll see what JJ's plans are. I can imagine that this big block of zombies here can be used as quite a big piece to try and push onto this objective here.
Yes.
To try and wrestle that back off of Will's control so he can get the point for adjacent to the Pulse as well back. And then the Pulse is obviously going to move into that space there. And then JJ would love to get both this objective and see if he can get this objective as well. Will's doing a really good job of stopping the latter, though, of that objective. As he's kind of screened out as much as possible. So the Maelstrom's gone. Looks like it's killed some of Will's zombies, killed some of JJ's zombies. And score looks like they're just chatting through the scoring just now. So let's have a look. See,
looks like Will thinks he's got the 4 points.
We're just looking to see how many people are, how many zombies are all wholly within the order range of that Necromancer, because they will count as double on that objective to try and take it off of Will. JJ also, I think, stating that he's got multiple zombies within one of his own bubbles as well. So it looks like 4 points. Looks like 4 points for Will. So he did manage to wrestle that one off of JJ. JJ obviously trying his best to stop that, but he did manage to get that objective there. Okay, so not a bad turn from Will. So he's currently up 7-3. And he did get cursed on life there as well. That was just an auto one, really, just to get Manfred to kill a zombie. He heals up. And then, yeah, interested to see what tactics JJ is going to go for here. In terms of Soul Blight, he's got quite a lot on. He could have the Grasping Dead, which is have a summonable unit that's within 3, stay within 3 at the end of the turn. We've also got potentially have a summonable unit killed. Summonable unit. Outside of 3 inches of combat, get it killed. That's another one you potentially might want to go for. So yeah, there's plenty on offer, and then we've also got the book battle tactic ones as well. So we could try and go for Intimidate Invaders. It should be an easy one here for JJ. Just get out of your territory. So we'll see what tactic he goes for. Interesting to see if JJ also goes for a heroic action teleport to try and get something tasty buzzarded off. So we will see how this plays out. Need to make sure that we're also not skipping past start of hero phase and the ability to dispel endless spells. So Kyle just getting a wee update there on the CP, and also how much primal dice each player has as well, because that's going to be huge with regards to dispelling or unbinding and casting. So he's also gone for Cursed Unlife as well. Ideal. So yep, JJ going for Cursed Unlife. Really good battle tactic this actually, really, really nice. Quite just. Let's see. So JJ, I think, potentially going for the Dispel. He's not going for the Dispel on Gravetide. Or has he failed it? Gravetide's still sitting there and they're casting spells. Okay, very interesting. So I'll type this up here just now, that we've got Cursed Unlife. Cursed Unlife going, being the battle tactic being picked for JJ. I'll just get a wee slight update here from Kyle on the situation with CP and also Dispels. Okay, good update there from Kyle, so thank you for him running over to the table just to have a chat with the lads. So looks as if, yeah, JJ did indeed fail to dispel Gravetide, which is huge. It means that Will be able to wield it again, try and get rid of as many zombies as he can, and also potentially use it as a blocking piece as well on these objectives. We haven't managed to get our own, or JJ hasn't managed to get his own Gravetide out yet. Both players had 2 primal dice apiece to be able to use. So very interesting here. Okay, so I think looks like Will trying to roll to unbind. He's adding a Primal Dice to it, and looks like it stops it. Oh no, so he has not stopped. The Gravetide is out. So JJ, it's Gravetide versus Gravetide. Perfect. Okay, so just get an update there as well. Yep, so it looks as if that JJ did obviously go for Morbeg's Claw in order to get +2 to cast and that nice little aura. And that was the deciding factor in him getting his own Gravetide out. So out it comes. Out to play. So that's going to be hopefully pretty efficient at getting rid of zombies. So it should be very helpful for Jade to try and clear a lot of these bodies out of the way. In terms of scoring, if JJ's just basically going to be getting a Cursed Unlife easily either from Manfred, if Manfred's taken some damage, I think he may have with Spirit Gale already in the game, and if JJ hasn't healed that in any way, shape or form, it means that Manfred just needs to go in and kill some zombies to heal and get some of his battle tactic. Looks like we're now moving, we're into the end of the hero phase now, and Will is moving his own Gravetide, and JJ's moved his Gravetide as well, so we'll see what that means in terms of killing zombies. Looks like Will has actually just moved it into position to maybe try and block. So maybe use it as a space taker upper over here, because that's not going to be hitting any of JJ's zombies at all. In fact, it's all Will zombies in this area here. That's mostly all Will zombies, and then obviously JJ decided to chuck his Gravetide up into here, which is, as you can see, Will is pulling quite a few zombies there, so that's done a decent number of mortal wounds. So we're now just going into the pulling zombies phase from the Gravetide, and we then need to also go into JJ's movement phase. Again, both players working like absolute Trojans here to make sure that we are able to run to time. There's quite a handful of zombies that Will's picked up. Okay, no, so it looks like Will has actually put this into JJ's zombies. I did wonder as to why the Gravetide was here. So it looks like it has been finished and set up here, which means it's going to be going into JJ's zombies here. And as we can see, JJ's now pulling from, I think there's two separate units of zombies up there actually. Potentially a 20 and a 40. Okay. So that should spell the end of the hero phase. It looks like there's a lot less zombies on the board over in this area here, whereas JJ still has probably at least 60 of those little buggers over in his right flank, which is where the pulse is, and where the pulse is going to be for this turn and next turn. And it looks like JJ is going to get a good decent swathe of scoring here, depending on priority. Okay, looks like we've got another update. Oh, and I think Matt has already sent that in via message. So we'll have a wee look at that just now. So it looks like, I think I saw Ewan Hogg going over. This was the Trogoth. So it looks like Ewan Hogg has beaten Sean Ricketts 33-11. So big game from Ewan Hogg. So congratulations to him. I'll double check what that means in terms of his overall score. That could mean the 4-1 for Ewan, so very well done if that's the case. But commiserations to Sean Ricketts on that one. So well done to Ewan. Ewan was one of the lists that we highlighted in our list review show. I really like the fact that it was Trogs, and I also really like the fact that it was Trogs and King's Gits. I like the more reliable, the reliability of bringing things back from the shrine as opposed to healing, which I think Trogs have already got a lot of. So yeah, very well done to him. He'll be super chuffed. He's coming off of a decent result at Tempest. He won some awards at Tempest, and I've never seen someone so happy to win an award ever. I believe his big smiley face was doing the rounds on social media, so very well done to him for that one as well. Okay, so it looks like Will is moving. Wonder if this is a redeploy in reaction to something that JJ's moved. Okay. And looks like that's just a wee little Verkos Bloodborne that has retreated out of combat. And he is out of here. So that's up at the top left up here. This little Bloodborne will single Verkos Bloodborne left alive. He's just hot-footed it out of combat. 10-inch move on those guys, so pretty zippy fast. Looks like Manfred has decided to go for a redeploy charge based off of that. So we're seeing Manfred actually being used to full effect there. Thanks to that Bloodborne unit retreating out of combat, it's opened up the redeploy charge for Manfred, so he really wants to get re-stuck into these zombies. And you would hope, well, I think Will would hope that you can try and chew through what's left over in that left flank. Okay, so we'll see what else there is still to move. Feels like there's a lot of stuff locked in combat, and therefore actually wouldn't be doing any moves other than if JJ wanted to retreat. So we'll see how that goes. He's moved the big block of zombies. Here they come. He's already got full control over that pulse objective, so he doesn't really care about keeping them on. He wants to try and bring them around. Maybe going for a charge over here. So we'll see how that goes for him. And then we've got Will's Manfred. Looks like he's sitting pretty right here. And he has been chucked into 2 different blocks of zombies.
So JJ's
on there. Sorry, JJ's Manfred, sorry, my apologies.
No,
getting Will and JJ's mixed up.
Yeah, it's alright.
So JJ's Manfred there, yep.
I was having a look at the turn there so I could have a bit more of an in-depth view of what was going on there with everything. So obviously JJ was quite disappointed that he couldn't get rid of the Gravetide there.
Yeah, that was huge.
Interesting for him to choose not to use the Primal to get rid of it, which I thought was interesting. But I came through, and both players are well aware that they are very close to timing out.
Oh, wow.
Will has 26 minutes left on the clock.
Jeez,
JJ's not far behind with 38, so they are very in danger of not being able to do much from potentially round bottom round 3.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna place a bet, and I'm gonna say that Will's turn 3 will be his last playable turn. Wow,
that's huge. So do we think we're going to get a deciding factor in basically what we're saying is that in the end of this turn and also battle round 3, if this is the case, it's looking pretty good for JJ here, because really he'll be front end loaded on points, and if it gets to a timed out type of scenario here, I don't know if Will's going to have much of a leg to stand on in terms of saying, well, I'm set up for the late game to get the pulse points. So unfortunately, this is the thing, if you bring armies that have got so many models and so much stuff to do, especially when it's the mirror match, it's can you actually get this done in time?
So we will be very tight on the clocks as well with this particular game.
Absolutely. Okay. They have been helping each other out a lot. It's been non-stop. I have just been saying that it's been non-stop. They've just been going at it. They'll be either Will asking, just tell me how much I need to roll for over there. Cool, that's fine. And then kind of doing it. I think they've been rolling wards for each other as well, so we can have some simultaneous piling in or wards and removal at the same time, just to try and speed the game up as well. Both players obviously would like to see this to fruition. But it's certainly interesting to have streamed, because you can actually see what sort of work level it takes to make both of these armies work as well, right?
Yeah, it's not an army that you can necessarily just pick up and go 5-0 with, because there's so many technical moving parts. it is a very strong army, but that's one of the things I'm liking at the moment about them. None of them are super easy and straightforward to use.
Yep. Maybe
Null Myriad is as Matt did joke, his 6-year-old son could just pick it up and play with it. But Soulblight's not one of those that you can just, know exactly what you need to do. You need to make sure all your auras are ticking off, all your correct buffs and spells are going off.
Yep.
And if you need to know exactly what to do if you do run into a mirror match as well. Because they're popular enough that it is, as we found out today, a possibility. A lot of people don't necessarily, if they run into an opponent that regularly plays Soulblight as opposed to someone that's just chasing it, they could completely crumble.
Oh, 100%, yeah. A nice wee kind of callback there to fantasy as well, because crumbling was a thing in fantasy.
Yes.
If you lost your heroes and you were a Vampire Counts player, then you would start to lose models due to crumbling, which was really cool. Okay.
Maybe they should bring that back as a way to nerf Soulblight.
Way to speed it up. Way to speed up the game. Okay, so definitely feels like there's a lot less models on the board now. I don't know if any unit has actually been wiped out, therefore I don't think we've needed to roll to bring back any summonable units as well.
Will did forget to bring his models back though, adding into the unit, so he did mention that, and he didn't offer to, being a good sport, he didn't actually offer to go back and put them back on. Okay. They agreed they're both going through the throat here, so any mistake is a mistake made.
I actually really like to see that. Because again, it's like making mistakes is just something that's going to happen in a game, and so I know that your opponent could go, oh, but you never really would do that kind of thing. Well, you did, and it's a tournament, and
sometimes you have to be brutal.
Yeah, absolutely, and then sometimes it means that you're never going to make that mistake ever again. You can really learn from these mistakes.
Something I have noticed in a couple of tournaments and things, especially that we've been to, players being given extra time to talk things out, and I'm quite strict on that.
Yeah,
I'm like, right, well, I didn't get extra time. Right, to be fair, I finished my game in 50 minutes, but I didn't get extra time. Other people
win, lose, or draw, it's done in 50 minutes.
It should be done, and if you can't decide on it, you roll a dice. 4 up, someone wins. It's one of those things that we do need to have more strict rule sets with certain things, especially with more players practicing for team tournaments, worlds, and other things like that. There needs to be a crackdown, especially chess clocks is the big one, because a lot of times people just time out and they don't even realise, and they just carry on playing. Yeah, no, for sure. We're just laughing. So Reese, now that he's finished, has decided to just kind of peruse around the tables as he does, commenting on the tables as he goes. He's just came over to this stream table, and I think he was physically sick. I think definitely a wee bit sick up into the mouth there when he looked at the zombies versus zombies. So I think this is an arm. This is literally an army that's the antithesis of Reese as a person. He cannot beat this army. He's very struggled with it, and it's also, as you mentioned, it's the complete opposite of him. He is a very fast, in and out, 100% game over. This is long and slow. Absolutely. So let's see, again, I see we're seeing some great teamwork here. We're seeing some great teamwork between the fast dice rolls. I know Kel's been an absolute trooper going over there and emptying that dice tray to try and get it a bit less cluttered. I have reminded them that they need to keep that clear, because it's harder for us to be able to tell who's rolling. We only see hands. Exactly. So it does get a little bit harder. And I think that the response from both players is, well, we're fast rolling these, so we're just going to keep doing it. That was their response. Was they were basically like, we can keep the dice roll out of the tray, or we can time out. So yes, okay, fully understandable. Fair enough. But at least you can still see most of the logo, which is good. It's good for the channel. Alan George has came in saying, anyone who turns up with an army containing this many models should have to play all their games with a chess clock. I agree. I'll go one further, Alan. I think every game should have a chess clock. Every single game should have a chess clock. Even for those players that aren't as confident in their abilities or anything like that, it's... Okay. So we're just getting another update there. Thank you, coming in from Matt. But yeah, just to finish that point on chess clocks, the reason why I'm just being kind of so brazen, just saying every game should have one, is mainly because a lot of the time in tournaments, there will be some sort of ambiguity by the end of the game. The TO shouts time.
a game hasn't finished, and then it's oh, well, what would have happened? And if that's talking out over 2 turns, there's so many different variables that can happen. Whereas I understand why people are maybe against chess clocks. They think that they maybe think it's not in the spirit of the game. They maybe just don't want to have the hassle of having to constantly click a clock back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I almost see the chess clock, it's actually a bit of protection for me as a player. Because at the end of a game, if we've gone to time, I can say, I had half an hour left of my game.
This is what I could do.
My opponent's clocked out, and this is what I can do. But I wasn't able to actually impact the game in the way I wanted because my opponent has taken this much time off my own clock. So I think it's very important, especially when you're at a tournament. And I know that sometimes for a lot of tournaments, it's like, well, the top 8 tables will have a clock, or the top 4 tables have a clock. I honestly wouldn't have an issue if clocks were just made mandatory, and it's also really good practice for those of us or for those people who want to go and perhaps play internationally, either at Six Nations or at Worlds, because clocks are mandatory at these events as well. So yeah, I don't have an issue with them, but yeah, I know that some people do. Anyway, so we've got an update.
It's 6 points to JJ.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is very, very nice. And then it looks like they'll be rolling in for priority. The Pulse has moved over.
Okay, Will is going for.
Will won the prio.
Yeah, looks like Will's maintained prio. Okay, he's going for the grasp. He's going for grasping dead. So he basically just, as they've just said, that they just need to stay in combat with Manfred. Is that right? So he just needs to stay in combat. And this is Will needs to keep his zombies in combat with Manfred. He does have a big old conga line.
JJ.
Sorry.
It's Will's turn.
Yes,
so
Will has to keep his zombies
Will has to keep his
in
Manfred
combat with
in
JJ's
combat
Manfred.
with JJ's zombies.
Nope. Because it's a summonable unit.
Oh, summonable,
has to be in combat.
It is summonable.
Yes.
No, you're right. Yeah, we are.
So, thank God.
It's, you can tell it's game 5, can't you?
We got there in the end. But yes, because basically Grasping Dead is you need to pick a summonable unit that's within 3, and they need to stay within 3. So Will's going to have to keep his zombies, so that nice little kind of conga line of zombies, in combat with JJ's Manfred. So he just needs to hope that Manfred doesn't roll super hot on his attacks and wipes those zombies, which doesn't look like that's the case. But yeah, could potentially happen.
A couple of scores coming in.
Yeah, a couple of scores in the doors.
We've got firstly we've got Mike Callahan versus Lewis Mitchell just there, and sadly the Trogs did not fare well against Big War. 32 to Mike and 8 points to Lewis. It can be quite hard for the Trogs to chase the Pulse. They're not very fast moving, unfortunately, compared to Big War. And then we've also got Henry versus Adam. I'm not sure what it is that they actually play.
Yeah, we can double
we'll
check,
have a quick check
on
here.
Best Coast pairings. So Henry versus Adam. Let's see if I can find them. Henry Hunt and Adam Fitzpatrick, I believe.
Oh, down on table 29. So Adam won with Seraphon, unsurprisingly.
It looks like Henry's running Seraphon as well.
So Seraphon off.
Yeah, it's a Seraphon
Adam
off.
Seraphon triumphed over Henry. 31 to 9.
Nice, and I think both running Koto's Claw coalesced as well, by the looks of it. Yes, okay, oh, interesting. So, when in doubt, if you've got too many Seraphon players at a tournament, just get them to play each other. That seems to be
pair them off.
That seems to be the best way to go about doing it. So we've scored up this round. We're in turn 3 now. We've got Grasping Dead coming up for Will. I'll just take that little Y off there because we're not 100% sure, because there is a way that possibly JJ could try and scupper this tactic for Will. But that's the lay of the land just now. So it's 9-7 to JJ. Will wins prio and keeps it. So we'll see how this goes.
The reason that we had to speak about Adam and Henry there, we just got up an update, that was the game for the wooden spoon potential.
So actually very important there. So who ended up winning that?
Adam won, so Henry
like
potentially could be getting the spoon.
Could be getting the wooden spoon. Okay. Because honestly, if you're down there in the rankings, you might as well then just tank it for the prize, right?
Oh yeah. You go home with something at least.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so just a lot less models on the table right now. Looks like Will has got full control over that left side of the screen right now. But again,
does have fewer models,
but it's the right side, and JJ does have a lot more models in play here.
So Will casting Maelstrom there.
Yep, interesting to see what Will does
adding
here.
A primal dice.
He may also want to chuck his Manfred into JJ's Manfred.
Looks like he's also got rid of JJ's suffocating Gravetide.
Fantastic. That's how it's done. I'm sure he'll be rubbing that into JJ. Why couldn't you roll that? Come on now.
Yeah, I did think it was very interesting that JJ chose not to use one of his primal dice to remove
for the dispel,
because he did end up having a primal dice at the end of the battle round.
Interesting. It's so funny how sometimes you end up kicking yourself. He may have thought, oh, I need that primal to cast, so I'm just going to wear that. But it does mean that block of zombies that was over in his left flank is now gone. So Will's got free Manfred. He's got some free bats, some free direwolves. He's got zombies in combat with JJ's Manfred. He's got some zombies in combat with JJ's zombies and JJ's direwolves over on the Pulse objective over here, which is this objective right here. But I think he's going to struggle to get this objective off, to wrestle that off of JJ. So it may just be a case of scoring 1 for holding 1 for holding an adjacent, and 2 for his tactics. So again, he might just walk away with 4 points here again for Will. And trying to set up the late game. Whether we'll see the late game or not is dubious. But I think it's the best really plan he's got. JJ's done very well and just keeping the pressure on that Pulse.
JJ, whoever actually won the either way, Will got the turn. It's interesting there because as mentioned, he only has, if we have a quick look there, I think it's something like 21 minutes counting on the clock there.
Wow.
So did he really want to be having that turn?
JJ really piling the pressure on Will here in terms of time, clock management, and then also the fact that he's only going to score 4 points this turn, and then JJ could score potentially up to 7, depending on how well he does here.
Obviously, Will's going to want to start to consolidate, so even if he can't do anything, he can still hold the points. So it just depends on whether or not JJ can actually move things up the board fast enough or bring things on to be able to counter and take those late game objectives in order to be able to maintain his what is currently quite a solid lead.
Absolutely. And literally any amount of time spent basically stopping, pausing, pondering, thinking, even just talking with your opponent is just time ticking down on that clock as well. As you can see, it's ticked down to 20 minutes for Will.
Every second counts.
And looks like 28 minutes for JJ.
So they are not neck and neck, but they are quite tight.
But I suppose the good thing is, as assets and models start to drop, then the turns should get quicker. They should go quicker because there's less stuff for you to do, because there's less things for you to move, less things for you to charge, pile in, roll saves for, that kind of thing.
You say that they are playing Soulblight.
But that's the thing, and we also will be interesting to see. I think I don't know if Will's going to forget to bring back a summonable unit this turn. We'll see how that goes.
He might not want to. You never know. So he could be wanting to keep them, but he does need them both for their grand strategies. So it is interesting to see if a whole unit has even been wiped out yet. It's hard to tell now that nothing's in their movement trays anymore.
And now that so many movement trays and tokens strewn about the battlefield as well. So it looks like Will's Manfred is on the hunt. He is moving fast down into this area down here, and I can see that that's right next to JJ's Necromancer. Might just want to charge in and take him off. I thought that he might possibly want to try and charge him into JJ's Manfred, but we do need those zombies to stay alive in order to get the battle tactic. If that is indeed the zombie unit he has picked, I think that definitely was when JJ said over about the battle tactic. I think you do. We'll double check. So let's see, Soulblight. So that's the grasping. Pick one friendly summonable unit within 3 of enemy units. If that unit's within 3 of an enemy unit at the end of this turn. So he's going to need to be careful here.
Ideally, he wants that zombies on the pulse. Ideally, I think.
Yeah, it's whether or not he thinks that they would still be alive.
Oh, there we go. We've just seen Will bring on a big unit of zombies in the corner.
So he's remembered. So that must be 40 block that's died. So therefore he's bringing 20 onto there. He has to keep them outside of 9 inches of that. What would I would imagine is JJ's Vampire Lord over there. So he's possibly rethinking it, possibly just coming in and consolidating on that objective there, in order to really consolidate his position. on that half of the table. Thomas Backhouse, the lads have got roughly, from what I can see, so Will looks like he's got 17 minutes on his clock and JJ's got 28 minutes on his clock there, so a little over, what's that, a little over 35 minutes? 45 minutes?
Me to do mental maths
I think 45 minutes. I think we've got just over 45 minutes left. Yes, because we're just coming up for the 2 hour mark here on the stream.
That would be 45.
It's 2 hours 45 total for the game, for the game round. So yep, that would make sense.
Teacher and a banker, and we can't do mental maths.
Look, I teach biology, man. I don't teach maths. Okay. I've forgotten to actually give JJ his turn 2 battle tactics. So we did get cursed on life, so obviously need to make sure it's got a little Y next to it for yes. The lads are doing well. I really must shower the praise on them for just the speed, the constant nature of the list that they're playing. They're just constantly moving. We've seen this from Will a lot before, as we said. He comes from a War Machine background, so he's a very tight, very fast, tight player. It looks as if Manfred is charged and just taken off the Necromancer. Not sure if any dice were rolled or if they just decided that he's gone. I don't know if there's any world in which a Necromancer survives a swing from a Manfred von Karstein, especially if you can do a stomp as well and just take him off. So I think at this stage, just in terms of speed, I think they've just decided that Necromancer's dead. And then we'll see how else we get on over here. So it looks like Will is piling in some zombies onto that pulse objective. Does still have a good number of bodies on that pulse objective, and being in range of his general means that they will be counting as double on that objective as well. So can he wrestle enough off of them? Be interested. I couldn't see if he'd actually charged. The corpse cart yet. It could well be actually that I'm not sure if the Necromancer, he could have had so little wounds that just stomp might have just killed him as well. And that's why they haven't rolled anything, because really, if they said the Necromancer's gone, then it should be JJ's pick if it was in combat. But we have Will piling in with zombies here, so I think possibly a stomp, got rid of the Necromancer, and then we've got JJ piling in these zombies to try and do as much damage as possible into that pulse objective. If he does enough, he could wrestle that pulse objective from JJ, and it could be a big turn for Will here, actually, which is nice. Could get 2 points for the pulse, another 2 for having at least 1 and adjacent and battle tactics, so he could be scoring up 6 points for himself this turn. We obviously have to make sure they're going as quick as possible. Rolling all these zombie attacks in super lightning fast time. And again, both helping each other out here as well. Okay. Obviously, the downside of killing zombies is that they also can do damage back to you, because the 5-ups to basically Mortal Wounds back
drag you down to the
drag you down. So, but it looks like he's done not bad here. He's cleared off quite a few of JJ's zombies here, and I can see a lot more dark zombies. Kind of that dark colour scheme that Will's rocking. I can see a lot more dark zombies than the lighter scheme than JJ. Fortunately, JJ does still also have a 40 brick of zombies right next to that objective.
And he does have a turn in hand as well.
Correct,
so
but he'll just be shoving onto that objective. So Will might be able to wrestle it off from this turn, but I think it's definitely going to go back to JJ's next turn. But then the pulse does move again.
So
and Will's in a much better position.
Good. I'm not going to bother counting it, but I'm going to just guesstimate around 40 zombies on that objective.
Yeah.
And the big thing is that most of these grave sites are all blocked off.
Yes.
As well, so it's going to be. I'm not sure if those direwolves in the background on that far one are alive or not.
I think they are alive, because I think they're currently in combat with one single Virkos Bloodborne up in that top left-hand corner. He was the one that retreated, which then gave Manfred a redeploy charge into the zombies again. So that was pretty clutch.
Just a little bit of an update going on the other top table game that we've got going on there between Nathan and John. Going into the bottom of third, they are neck and neck, 15-15.
Wow!
So very close game.
Very close.
So it's going to be important, depending what happens here. Absolutely.
There could be a prio in it.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, that's awesome to see as well. And John, obviously, a really good player, and the fact that he's running Khorne, the anti-magic kind of tech, so close. Neck and neck with Nathan. Nathan, also a very good player as well. So, yeah, that's...
You're getting your names mixed up together.
What's that, sorry?
You said that John was running Khorne.
No, John was running Khorne so close because they're the anti-magic armies. I'm saying, jeez, keep up, Kyle.
Yeah,
jeez.
Seraphon. It's time to go home, I think.
Oh my God! Someone's just kicked the camera yet again.
James
Cross has just kicked the camera. Absolutely, he's getting shouted out on the stream. Good lord, good lord.
The good news is it doesn't seem to have been affected too
Yes,
much.
not too much. We're seeing a lot more of the left side of the mat than the right, but we're still not. I don't think we're losing any of the mat. It's just the table that we're seeing a lot more of. But that's fine. Do you know what? I can tell you, Kyle, I cannot wait to pack up this stuff and so I can stop having anxiety about somebody just destroying it all. So I'm really looking forward to that.
It's not cheap kit.
Can actually see the upload speeds are getting really throttled right now. We're not seeing much.
Oh.
So looks like we have another update.
So Richard and Raph, Seraphon off there. Slow game. They're at the bottom of 2. So you know it's going to be Will and JJ faster than the 2 Seraphon players here. It's only 7-9.
Oh, 7-9.
Yes, for
wow.
Raph.
For Raph.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So maybe no alpha was maybe the beacons had not been lit, and but yeah, that's very interesting. So that's really fun as well. So the zombie mirror is actually playing faster than 2 Seraphon players.
Yeah.
That's some interesting stats right there that we can use at the end for a little wrap up.
Yeah, but Alan's coming in there, so yeah, absolutely can't accuse either players of slow play. Both playing at lightning speed, trying to get as many rounds as done as possible. But yeah, absolutely, Alan, because you can see here that Will actually only has 13 minutes left on the clock, but it looks like we've actually ticked over into JJ. Doing something. It's his turn. So like when we swap back into Wilson, so Will's probably going to end his turn roughly around just floating around the 10-minute mark.
Yep.
So he might still be able to get one more turn in. Now that he's
and looks as if he has managed to get that objective off of JJ as well. So it looks like Will's in control of the pulse, and he possibly should walk away with 6 points. 6 points this turn. So it's nice, really nice turn from Will there. Uncle Matt comes over. No updates for Matt. Perfect. Matt's
going for a cigarette.
Matt's just going for a smoke. Bless him. Just coming up to 40 minutes left in the round here. So we're coming into the death. We've played over 2 hours. And it's amazing now. The game is really opening up now. There's a lot less bodies in the table, a lot less zombies, and then also a lot less units to do things with. Also in terms of grand strat, it looks like Will has brought back 1 unit, so he just needs to bring back 2 more. But it also means he needs 2 more to die in order to bring them back as well.
Big problem.
So there's
zombies on zombies with no rend. Mainly the Manfreds are the only big thing here, next to the suffocating grave tides that are going to be doing anything to these units.
Yep, exactly. And that's a Necromancer down, so that's 1 less cast. It's also 1. Means that you can't just use the Necromancer to try and dispel the suffocating Gravetide. He's got 2 casts from Manfred, I believe, and then 1 cast from the Vampire Lord that's still alive as well. So, it's going to be interesting in terms of casts, dispels, unbinds. I think we do need to take a minute just to comment on the fact that so JJ and Will, they're both part of the same club, the Steamed Warhams. I think we just need to call out the fact such a nice reference that is to The Simpsons, and the
6 for
and
Will.
Will does get the 6, so well done to Will there. Gets his battle tactic, kept those zombies in combat with Manfred, daisy chaining them out over those 2 objectives, and then also wrestles that pulse back. And this is looking, Will is in a very strong position for next turn. That pulse is coming his way. Can't really think of any way that JJ's going to do anything about it. So grasping dead for JJ, perfect, so awesome. So he's also
copy pasting his battle tactics.
Exactly, just copy and paste. So grasping dead has been got. We'll get a wee update on CP from the lads as well. But no, I would imagine not really much CP being used other than redeploys. And
Intimidate.
Oh, he's actually changed. He's not going grasping. He's going for intimidate the invaders. Okay, fair enough. Thank God I didn't waste time typing that in. So he's going for intimidate. Intimidate invaders. Perfect.
All right.
We'll catch up with a little CP check in a wee second, but again, it's any questions that we're shouting in, it's taking time away from the lads, so we're going to try and keep them, try and leave them alone as much as possible. Craig's saying clock is paused.
No, it's not. You can still see it ticking down on the JJ side.
Yep, so it looks like JJ's ticking away.
22 minutes, just 23 minutes just going down the now. So it might have been a little bit of lag because our
I know that we have
dropping.
been dropping. Yeah, we've dropped 4.3% of our frames. We dropped 0% frames last game. It was a glorious sight to see. For some reason, the upload speed's just dropping slightly for this stream, but still holding not too bad. So it looks like Will, he gains his 6. That ticks him up to 13 on the points. So well done to Will. And he's got these 3 battle tactics. Still working away on that grand strat. And then JJ's gone for intimidate invaders. Just leaves us kind of with casting to keep a wee eye on. So interesting to see if JJ's going to use a cast in order to try and dispel Gravetide. It's not actually in a particularly threatening position because all of JJ's zombies are
the other side of the board.
Are over here. And Will's Gravetide's over here. So I do wonder if maybe Will just wants to actually dispel it so he can try and cast it next turn if he gets turn. Or if he'd rather just waltz it over. I don't think the Gravetide's going to go 2 turns without being dispelled. I know JJ was unlucky last turn to not dispel it, but I think he needs to roll a 6 in order to get rid of it. We've not really seen any impact from Blizzard at all. The Vampire Lord over here, actually, though, could be in... Oops, sorry, that's way off. The Vampire Lord right here could be in prime Blizzard range for these zombies here of Will's.
That could be big.
Which could be pretty devastating
Freeze up
here.
The other ones there to be able to move towards where the pulse will be bouncing over to in the next round.
If I'm not mistaken, it looks as if Will has 2 primal and it looks like JJ has 1 primal dice to use. Could be wrong here, but we'll see how this goes.
Just going to run off and clear that tray for them once again. Help them keep it as clear and nice and tidy as possible.
No
so I will be back and I'll find out what they're up to.
Thank you, Kyle, and Godspeed. Please don't kick the camera. Thank you, Kyle. Fantastic. No more updates from Uncle Matt. Okay, so that was so really big blow there from Will. He's failed to stop Gravetide, even throwing multiple primal dice at it. He's not managed to stop it. This could be pretty huge. It's going to clip 2 of Will's zombie units here, so could help to clear off a good number of zombies. Okay, let's see what we're rolling for now. Looks like Spirit Gale's gone off as well, because I can see JJ pointing frantically at different units, rolling dice, and JJ's actually rolling Will's wards for him, and Will is picking out models or he's putting wound counters down. So that's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, and this is hopefully what's going to stop this game from from being clocked out. We've got 1 cast left here from JJ. Just getting an update from Kels what spell that was. No Blizzard. Went for Mystic Shield to keep the zombies in the fight a bit longer. So a recap of the cast: we had the Gravetide gone off. We have Spirit Gale going off as well, and then we have Mystic Shield going off onto those zombies as well to try and keep them around for a lot longer. He's only got a few zombies there in that unit left, but he does have a big old 40 block that he could just slap onto that objective, that pulse objective. So here we go. Okay, so 3 CP to 2 Wills, 2 CP, perfect, don't need to change anything. Looks like Gravetide is tagging a lot of Wills units there. It's going to do a heinous amount of damage potential. Yeah, Will was really upset that he couldn't actually stop that one from going off. Okay, so Will was 2 from the resummoned unit. That's pretty good. Okay, does 1 mortal wound to Vampire Lord. Okay. He's got 20 dice to roll into that zombie block of Willows on that objective. So he's done 5 mortals. So he's definitely doing odds. Okay. So looks like Will's peeling off quite a few zombies there. I could hear him admonishing JJ for his luck of the dice rolls. So I think he might have spiked some 5-ups there potentially. Okay. And then I think that's Gravetide spent. And Will... So interesting there. Looks like retrospective dispel of Gravetide there. I wonder if that was a gentleman's agreement there to let Will go back and do that. He might have actually stated intent beforehand, which is why JJ then said that that's fine. But yeah, well, we will see. I know that beforehand when he'd forgotten to do something that it was kind of decided that nope, that's it. It's playing for keeps.
Bringing the models back.
Yep, that's right. But we'll see. I wonder what's actually kind of happened and gone down there.
Well, I've got a little update for you from the other top table.
Okay,
that
great.
game is over.
So here we go.
John has conceded to Nathan.
Wow.
They're still working out the final points there. But yeah, John has capitulated against the Corn.
So it looks like the Corn has done what Corn does, and it has dealt with the magical Seraphon. So yeah, so conceding at that battle round 3. Did that get to? Yeah, battle round 3. Conceding just at the end of battle round 3 because it was 15 apiece, wasn't it? So, so yeah, okay, that's very interesting. Looks like JJ's also remembered to summon on, potentially onto that Gravetide. Sorry, onto that Gravesite. So let's see here. Looks like it's awfully close to one of Will's corpse carts. I don't know if they're just kind of speed hammering this right now and saying, yep, that's fine, they could fit in there.
It's just asking to move his models out the way, I think.
But yeah, we'll see here in a wee second. Or potentially if he is going to be, if he's just kind of stated, look, I'm bringing on these models after I finish my movement phase. I'll just stick them there for just now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta say the teamwork between the pair of them is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like as Alan said, yeah, both players have just been working lights out here. Again, this is the it's pressure that the clock can put you on, but it's also it can just tighten up a game, and it can also it just keeps both people honest.
Yeah,
as well.
JJ himself is down to 15 minutes now.
15 minutes. So it looks like 15 minutes for JJ, 12 minutes for Will. So looks like another turn's definitely on the cards. Just coming up to the end of JJ's movement phase.
Just under half an hour to go.
And looks like, yeah, there we go. So there's Mike doing his best Matt impression. We have half an hour remaining, so 30 minutes remaining here in the game. Really unsure what's going on here, Kyle. I don't know for the life of me, what is happening up here with these zombies and how they are so close to this block of Will's zombies.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. it's a bit... wonder what's going on.
Again, it could just be he's going to summon them on and put them somewhere else. But yeah, definitely need to get that kind of tidied up a wee bit there. So we'll see what the script is. So Kyle's getting a nice update on the summoning back of the zombies, which he's coming back with. And Kyle, very well done. Didn't manage to get the camera there. You're doing really well with that now. So have you got an update for us?
Yes. So because Soulblight, in your own turn, you can actually bring zombies on 3 inches away.
Okay.
So he's done that. I think they've just agreed that they'll be charging in. To those other zombies, perhaps, or something, which is why he's put them already within 3 of the other unit of zombies.
Interesting. Okay.
I think they're just trying to play ahead as much as possible.
Yes. My understanding was you roll a 3+ to bring them back in your turn. I didn't realise they could come within 3. I didn't realise they could come in combat. So are we saying that they've rolled
outside of 3 and then it's 9?
Outside of 3, so they just decided he's going to make the charge there. Right, got you. Okay, very interesting then. We'll look up that rule for you guys just now. I think it's called the Unquiet Dead. Let's see, or it could actually be it could be an Unquiet Dead. Let's see, has DG got it right? Yes, so during deployment... Oh no, sorry, so this is...
Gravesite version.
This is the gravesite. Could be Endless Legions? Yes, here we go. In the movement phase, pick a friendly Soulblight Gravelord's summonable unit's been destroyed, roll a dice, add 1 to the roll if it's your movement phase. So it says here that the unit must be set up wholly within 12 of a friendly Soulblight's Gravelord, hero, or gravesite, and more than 3 inches of for all enemy units if it's your turn, or more than 9 if it's the enemy turn. So yeah, really, really good actually. You can bring units in super danger close if it's your movement phase outside of 3, so that people might think that they've actually screened off objectives, and they just haven't, because you can bring them outside 3. And then, but it does say it cannot attempt to charge or make pillion moves in the same turn. So they can't charge out of this.
Why he's so close.
So it could just be a little bit of a they're obviously playing out of their minds right now, and therefore maybe just some models are being nudged into within 3. But no, they should definitely not be in combat, as the NOS 40k is also saying as well. So zombies cannot charge after resummon.
Throw them off onto that far objective.
Yes, possibly it could just be that
it's hard to tell what's actually alive and what's
well,
not.
I think those direwolves are definitely alive. So these direwolves are definitely alive. I think they've got fell. So I think Will's just done a really good of just basically blocking this objective off, because he's got fell bats there and he's got the zombies there blocking off that objective. That could be the reason why JJ hasn't decided to summon back onto there. But yeah, they definitely should not be in combat up here. So we'll need to make sure that both opponents are aware of that. I'm sure they are, but we'll double check. So do we have an update as well, Kyle?
Yeah, so just an update on the points for John and Nathan there. 28-24. Both 5 battle tactics. John just couldn't get the primary.
Wow, so 28-24, so all 5 battle tactics.
No grand strat.
No grand strat for either. Oh no, for John, probably not for Nathan either. Nathan would have had
got his grand strat.
Nathan got his grand strat. He had to kill all the wizards. Wow, fair play. Fair play at the boy. That means he had to kill all those Seraphon wizards, plus kill his own Be'lakor as well.
Yeah, suicide Be'lakor. So
fair play for getting the grand strat there. Well done to Nathan. So really, this is this game is the decider. So basically, we've kind of worked things out. If JJ wins this game, then Nathan takes the tournament. JJ cannot win the tournament, as he would only be 4 in a draw, not 5-0. So therefore, Nathan would be the only 5-0 player of the tournament. So he would take the top spot. Then it would be JJ in second, and then we would kind of have to work out points from there. In terms of if Will wins this game here, then he will take the top spot, and then it should then be Nathan, and then I think JJ will take third, based on his points and the fact that he would be. Hold on, my brain just stopped. Oh no, sorry, my apologies. It would basically come down to whether he'd got enough points over someone who was 4-1 to see if he would then podium.
Right.
So if Will wins, it should be, the natural order should be Will, then Nathan. We think based on points, Nathan's already said that he's dropped a good few battle tactics, so in terms of overall tournament points, we think Will would have it, plus strength of schedule. So it feels like if Will was to win, it would be Will, then Nathan, then there would be a toss-up in the 4-1 bracket for 4-1 bracket, or in the 3-1 and draw bracket, depending on points scored and strength of schedule. If JJ wins, it could well be Nathan at the top spot, then JJ, and then we would see who would be in the third spot. So it's all to play for right now. So let's try and get back into the action here. So the lay of the land, it's all very confusing. Looks like we're rolling up attacks. So we've got 40 block of zombies swinging on this objective here, and then JJ should be getting himself 2 for the pulse, 1 for adjacent, 1 for holding at least 1, and battle tactic. So he should also walk away with 6 points. So it looks like it's going to be 15 to 13. And we're just checking up a rule here. I can see both players have furiously just dove into... JJ just dove into his bag to take out the Soulblight Gravelord's Battle Tome to get a rule checked out. So I do wonder what that potentially has been. In terms of grand strat for each of these boys, looks like they've both brought back a summonable unit, and at the end of this turn they will each have 4 opportunities to bring back, to try and bring back 2 more for the grand strat. 4 ups in their opponent's movement phase and 3 ups in their own movement phase.
So they were checking a war scroll.
Awesome.
2d6
just checking.
attacks.
I just exclaimed 2d6 attacks. So there could be the corpse cart here.
I think that's likely. It's probably something that doesn't really see combat too often. For
sure. Usually if the corpse cart's in combat, that means that your zombie castle has been demolished, so not great.
Which is why Will has got 2.
Okay. And then JJ is essentially, he's got Intimidate Invaders, have more units outside than in, so I think that's 100% on. There are just bodies everywhere, folks, and I know how it might be quite confusing. It might look quite messy. I am quite loath to go over and admonish the players and tell them to clean up because they are playing absolute lights out. So I'll try and make some sense for you here. So I believe we have these direwolves left alive. I believe that these zombies of Will's are left alive. Plus we have that summoned unit of zombies in from JJ. And then I believe that all of these units here, all the way around to the Vampire Lord, back round again to the Corpse Cart, JJ's Manfreds, Will's Manfreds, all around here to Will's Fellbats, and then back round again. So I believe that that is currently the footprint of alive models. I could be wrong. Oh, I can also see that I've already missed the Corpse Cart here. Not sure if these zombies are actually a part of anything right now, but I think that that is the current state of alive models on the game. So everything else that you can see is either dead, is dead, and it's probably just sitting there because both players playing absolutely lights out and haven't removed them from the board. Space is also a bit of a premium as well because there's not much of a sideboard and God bless them, there's quite a bit of space taken up by some camera equipment as well, so the boys doing really well on stream here. Just had Reese Fraser sending me the goo goo eyes to see if he could come over and join the stream, and I've told him absolutely not. Please do not come anywhere near me. There's only so many 4 Lizzes that we can handle from a man that's been drinking non-stop for 3 days. Now we've got Mike Callahan coming over. Mike, I believe, just got a 3-2 on the weekend, so he's managed to stay in a positive win rate, which means that he doesn't have to leave Scotland anytime soon. He can stay. He's been allowed to stay, and he's looking very nice in his Norway top. Actually, black's a very nice colour for Mike. And Mike, hot off of his Worlds trip to Amsterdam, where I believe that he contracted a very aggressive form of dysentery from the buffet. So well done to Mike for making his not only just his medical comeback, but his Age of Sigmar comeback as well. I think Kyle also just needs to be having a wee chat here with the boys on the zombies that have somehow managed to make it into combat. So we'll make sure that that gets sorted as well. Okay, so yeah, we're just getting an update on how we can have zombies in combat after they've just been summoned here, and we've been reliably told that Will has countercharged using Legion of Night special rule. JJ must have finished a charge within 12 inches of that zombie unit, and he has then charged the other zombie unit into them to stop them from being able to put pressure on that back objective. A really nice play from Will there, actually. So yeah, we're just clarifying, it wasn't the summoned zombie unit that charged, because they cannot charge after they've been summoned on. It was Will's unit that countercharged with Legion of Night. So really nice play from Will. Because right now JJ would love to put as much pressure on as possible on those two objectives that are about to be hit with the pulse. That's going to move in there in battle round 4. So Will blocking off space, and also he's killed, wow, he's actually killed quite a lot of zombies there with them swinging, so big congrats to Will. I think potentially the Vampire Lord giving them +1 attack at the start of the combat phase. Possibly a long attack over there. 4s and 4s on zombies, and also spiking mortal wounds in addition on 6s to wound. Pretty nice. 3 attacks apiece, so 60 attacks coming in there in that zombie block. So he's managed to, I think, leave JJ with only about 6 zombies left in that summoned back unit. So really, really nice play from Will there. He wants to try and defend. He really, really wants to defend those 2 objectives there with all of his might, because that's the only way that he actually sees a way to win this game. So that's also why we've had so many zombies gone. Really high roll in the battle shock, 6 rolled in the battle shock. Obviously wanting to inspire elsewhere. But yeah, I do wonder if he's already spent his inspiring presence, his immune to battle shock, his indomitable triumph earlier in the game, which has then meant that those zombies are gone. So no more pressure from the zombies over there. They cannot be resummoned after they've already been summoned. It can only happen once. So looks like it's Prio into turn. Looks like it's 6 points, and it's Prio into turn 4. Let's see who's won Prio and who's got the decisions to make. So it looks like 6 points for JJ. Okay, so we're just discussing timing issues over here. So it looks as if JJ won Prio, and JJ has taken the turn as well. Okay, so we're just going to score that up. So JJ did get his Intimidate Invaders, and he did indeed score 6 points. He is also going to, we're also going to see the Pulse objective move over into the objectives that Will has full control over. So it might be getting to the stage here where in turn 4, the boys are looking to potentially, from what I've heard, start to chat this out, because they don't think they're going to have the time to play through. They have been playing absolutely lights out, so fair play to them. They've tried their damnedest to get this game finished in time. They've got about 15 minutes left in total for potentially one last battle round. So there might be a gentleman's agreement here to just play this battle round out as quickly as possible. So let's have a look at battle tactics here. So it looks like expand the Grave Empires is the one that JJ is going for. He's saying as you complete this tactic if you control 2 or more objectives wholly outside your territory, and each of those objectives is contested by a friendly summonable or vampire unit. So all of these objectives are wholly outside of deployment zone. So really easy tactic for JJ to get here. He's pretty much already got this because he's got a huge horde of zombies on this objective here. And he's already got this objective, and he's got Vampire Lord Hero sitting back pretty on that objective as well. So he's going to get that. So his battle tactic pretty much got. And then it's just what kind of primary they would score. Okay. So it's pretty much neck and neck. 2 points in it here. They've both completed all the battle tactics. JJ's just picked another battle tactic, which is pretty much just an auto. So that was expand the Grave Empires. We do need to keep a track on summoning back units as well, because that will count towards Grand Strat. Literally, the game could be that tight, it could be decided on Grand Strat. Okay, so just having an HP chat. Let's check up on the stream chat. So Craig's saying Mike's positive win rate. What about mindset? No, mindset's still in the gutter. Very negative mindset for Mike for sure. But yes, so there we go. We're just getting the 12-minute call from Matt there. So time is ticking. The round is almost over. And it looks as if that JJ's looking to potentially change his tactic. He's looking to go to Grasping Dead, looks like, on his Vampire Lord. Very interesting here. So I'll just look up I'll just look up here. So he's got Grasping Dead. Pick one friendly summonable unit within 3 inches of any enemy units. You can put the static of that unit's within 3 inches of any enemy units at the end of this turn. So potentially looking to get one of his summonable units, so probably zombies. And he's looking to get them within 3 of Will's Vampire Lord and just keeping him there. So that must be potentially looking like more of an auto take for JJ, or he could be thinking that, well, if he can get that one this turn, it means he's got to expand the Grave Empires open to him for the last turn. So very interesting. So we're changing that battle tactic to the Grasping Dead, which could give him more options going into battle round 5 potentially. So we're going for Grasping Dead for JJ. Again, both players just having a wee chat about what potentially could happen in the next turn. Will's in a very strong position here in terms of the late game, which is something they chatted about at the start. But again, potentially could get 6 points this turn, and then could get 5 points the following. So actually, no, hold on. So he could get the Pulse for 2 and Adjacent for 1. So could actually get 2 turns of 6 points here. So let's have a wee look. See, the boys are looking for a wee check. So yes, I think Will could be in position here, again depending on Prio, that he could get 2 full turns of 6. JJ could get another 6 this turn. No, sorry, actually maybe not another 6, because he's not going to be able to control that Pulse. So JJ could just be eyeing up a 4-point turn here, and then I believe the points are just going to go down for JJ as that Pulse moves further away from his forces. So this could be the last kind of decent scoring turn for JJ before Will then basically takes full control. So there's, again, it's so tight on time that really playing for the end game here is meant that it's very difficult and a lot to talk about because so many variables as well. I think for this turn, Will definitely would want to try and get rid of that Grave Tide, because that's going to do untellable damage into his zombie hordes. So I think that should be one of his dispels, which he's rolling just now. Gets rid of it. Okay, perfect. And then JJ's got some other casting, so possibly Spirit Gale or Blizzard. I think that's double sixes on. Is that double sixes on Blizzard? No, okay, so Spirit Gale, sorry, that was 4. Okay. I don't actually know if Spirit. I don't actually know if Blizzard's even in range of anything right now. So again, very quickly playing this turn out. With so many variables still to go, that's why we still require dice rolls. It's not enough to just say, well, you know, this will happen here and then they'll kill this and then they'll do this and they'll do this. Because, yeah, there's so much still that is needs the dice variables, the dice roll variables, and then also JJ's going to have to try and roll for bringing his dead models back as well, which he could fail. We saw him fail to do that in his game versus Stu. Couldn't bring back his models, therefore couldn't get his grand strat, which then ended up sticking him in the draw category. So yeah, very, very tense last turn here. We are coming up for 8 minutes, just under 8 minutes left in the round. And even though the boys have tried their best to take this to time and get this decided, this game decided and get a handshake within the time, it's looking unlikely that this is going to happen. I'm sure many of you people are shocked, very, very shocked that two armies both rocking over 100 zombies as unfortunately maybe going to be looking to get clocked out, but we'll try our best to keep playing through this, and then it may end up coming down to Teal's decision here. I'm sure both of these guys are both pals. I'm sure they'll come up with or they'll be able to talk out in a fair manner as well. But ultimately it is a Teal's decision, so they're going to have to go with, so Matt's going to have to go with whoever he thinks is either being rewarded with it, or if he thinks the time pressures are so grievous, then there may be other issues as well. 6 minutes left in the round. And it's looking very intense over here at this table. So just getting an update from Kyle. Will hasn't lost an entire unit of zombies yet. Well, however, yep. Well, he must have lost. He must have. So basically, I believe he lost a 40 block because he summoned one of them back. So he must have lost at least one. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Brains could be fried. Obviously, zombies love brains as well. Their players' own zombies might be eating their own brains as we speak. But yeah, I believe that Will did summon back a unit of 20 zombies onto one of his home objectives, or one of the objectives he had full control over. JJ is also summoned on a unit as well, so it's whether or not both players could summon on 2 more. Okay, nice update there from Kyle, thank you. So the 20 zombies that came out onto that objective, we hadn't actually been doing our jobs properly, because Will had 20 less bodies on the table than was in his list, so those were actually in reserve. So Will was keeping them up his sleeve, in his back pocket, for a time in which he needed them. He needed them in that exact moment, so he brought them out of his own grave site in order to use as a blocker. So really, really nice play there from Will. Looks like JJ has got he's got 2 summonable units back, so he is 2 towards the his grand strat. And looks like he's brought back some zombies onto Will's objective over here. Okay, so looks like he's trying to put the pressure on that pulse objective that's coming towards him. And I think that in Will's turn, luckily, he's got a Manfred von Karstein that would really probably like to come up here and wipe those guys out. He can't really afford to let any control, any bodies onto those objectives. So yes, very intense right now. For those of you who don't know as well, Sinke has got a raffle on just now as well, and he is raffling off some Uni pizza oven. It's a one Uni pizza oven, and it's some accessories for that as well, and he's raffling that off. And if you would like to, oh, here we go. 3 minutes left. If you would like to be a part of that raffle, then all you need to do is send £5 of your pounds to a specific email address that I will type into chat right now. It is sinky92 at live.co.uk. So I've typed it into chat there, and if you can send £5 via PayPal to that email address, you'll be entered into the giveaway, and you could win yourself a pizza oven and accessories for a value of over £300. And Sinky has said that he's open to try, and even if you don't live in the Glasgow area, he's open to try and get that stuff too. You could even collect from somewhere in the central belt of Scotland, and you could get yourself a nice little pizza oven. So I've entered, so fingers crossed it comes lucky. I do love me some pizza, so fingers crossed. But anyway, so we'll get back to the action now. And I've just been told the pizza oven draw is done. Perfect. So that 2 minutes of me telling people to buy raffle tickets is a waste of my time. Is that right, Sinky? So, don't send £5 to Sinky. Jesus Christ. He's been at me all day to big up the prize, to big up the raffle, and then I try to remember to do it, and he tells me it's done. Okay, anyway. Come back to the action. Looks like JJ has scored 4 for Grasping Dead. Yep. So I think that's going to potentially be JJ's last decent score. It takes him up to 19, because as we've said, the pulse is getting away from him. We'll check what battle tactic Will would say that he is going to do. And he's saying he's just checking what actually matters here. So yeah, looks like he has fired Manfred into those units plus the dire wolves. And he's also got a decent handle on that pulse objective there as well, with his shambling horde that he has left. So really, he just wants to keep a hold of the pulse and of the other objective that he's got, because the pulse is obviously headed that way as well. And he needs to make sure he scores 2 battle tactics here. Just basically hangs on for dear life. He just wants to completely take JJ out of this game. Depending on the prior roll into the last turn, it could just be game over, and it could just be Will walking away with the win. So let's have a look, see. Try and get an update from Kyle to see what battle tactic Will has gone for. So he's going for bait and trap. He needs to retreat with 2 and charge with 2, which he should have locked up. He's retreated with the zombies that were in combat. Oh, fantastic. So that's him ticked up 1. Okay, so he's just brought 20 zombies back, so he's at least 1 towards his grand strat. A good thing too, because he only has 2 more movement phases in order to try and bring enemy models back. So it's getting pretty tight here for Will. JJ's already 2 towards it, so he's got 2 more movement phases to try, and he only needs to bring back 1 more summonable unit. So yes, Thomas, please do not enter that pizza draw, and I will also delete that message from the chat as well. You try and do something nice, and then you end up getting hit with that. So that's Matt giving the time for the end there. So I'm just going to type up there that that's bait and trap. We're going to see how many points that Will comes away with there, and then we'll have a look-see at the time. We'll have a look-see at the score at the end as well. So looks like that's it, guys. So looks like the last few games are just being wrapped up at the moment. I'm seeing a good few handshakes. I'm seeing Jamie McHugh shaking hands with young Lewis Pennington. We've also got what looks to be like an absolute stonker between, looks like Bigwa and Zinch. Just right next to us as well. Just coming to the end of that. So I think what we'll do is, because I think it may be quite boring, you guys just watching me try to fill some air while we get a decision on this game here. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably go to a break, and we will come back and we'll come up and we'll see after we've made a decision. Just been told 6 points for Will there in his turn. So actually, be very interested to see the priority roll off here before we actually go to decision. So let's make sure that Will gets those points. So he's got bait and trap. He's retreated with 2 units. He's also charged with 2 units. Looks like he charged with Manfred, and he charged with the Dire Wolves to try and lift those zombies off his home objective. Off of that, now Pulse objective. And he does get 6 points here, so that takes us 19 each. Whoa. This is such a tight game. Such a tight game. So 19 each here, and then, yeah, be very interested to see the priority roll. And it looks as if we're needing to potentially roll some dice for battle, sorry, for grand strat for both players. And Will's also just pondering if there's anything to do to deny JJ's grand strat. So just re-clarifying here with the both players here. It looks as if the best that Will can do is 6 points in his last turn. The best that JJ can do is 4 points. That puts Will ahead by 2. But if JJ gets his grand strat, and if Will cannot, then it becomes a win for JJ. So let me just get a wee update on this. Okay, so this is intense. So basically what we're saying here and what we're actually rolling up here, just to finish off the game, is the pivotal thing that needs to happen is JJ needs to bring back a summonable unit. He's got 2 movement phases to do so, 1 on a 3 up, 1 on a 4 up. Will also needs to bring back a summonable unit, but he needs to bring back 2 summonable units in both of those movement phases. So he needs to roll a 3 up. He then also needs a failback to die. So he basically needs a failback to take 2 wounds and then bring that back in a 4 up. So really this is what we're looking for here. So he's taking a big long drink of his water. He's warming up those call to arms dice, and I think they're just basically rolling for it right now. So looks like he needs to roll a 3 up, and this bat's dead. So let's see it. Will is praying to the gods of Sigmar, because I think this is the game. Let's get that dice out here. Needs a 3 up. Okay. So, Fellbat's dead. Okay, so let's get an update from Kyle, because I think we maybe need that explained in a wee bit more detail there.
Okay, so as we just saw there was the fight between the Vampire Lord and the Fellbat. Now, very, very tense fight just going on there. Basically, if the Vampire Lord failed to kill the Fellbat, JJ would not be able to get his grand strategy by bringing it back in Will's actual turn. Only 2 hits went through from the Vampire Lord, and they were rolling the wounds one by one. And the Vampire Lord failed the first wound. So it all hinged on Will rolling a 3 up to kill the bat, because JJ wouldn't roll his ward. So he rolled a 3 up, killed the bat. Now this is hinging on whether or not JJ can actually bring back the bat. It rolls on a 4 up.
So this is to bring back a summonable unit in Will's turn. So on a 4 up. So are we basically stating that a 4 up wins? Are we saying that a 4 up? Are we saying that a 4 up will win JJ the game? That is basically it. Okay, so because that will get him his grand strat. There's no way that Will can get his grand strat. Okay, so as the points stand right now and basically what's been discussed, it looks as if it's a 4 up to win the game for JJ. Okay. Whew. Okay, so that's the lay of the land, folks. We're obviously right at the death here, and hopefully we can put this game away now. Okay, looks like some further discussion happening between the 2 boys in blue. Something else must have happened on a different table, because somebody's very happy. Okay, Will wins the game by 1 point, as JJ just failed a 4 up to bring back his 3rd and last summonable unit to then get his grand strat. So it looks as if just double checking. It looks as if Will wins by 2 points here. Okay, so here we have the scores on the doors here from Kyle. It is 25 points to Will and 22 points to JJ. So okay. So basically what we're saying here is it was all hinging on that grand strat from JJ. There was no way that Will would have got his grand strat. And so basically if JJ gets his grand strat, it then would have made it a draw, but then yes, from the perfect. So they were saying basically that that JJ wouldn't have been able to get 4 in the last game. It would have had to be 3 points in the last turn. So if JJ gets his grand strat, it gets him his 3 points up to 25, and that means that he would win based off of they both score 5 battle tactics, and then it comes down to grand strat. So then JJ would have won the minor. However, it looks as if that inability to, I think he rolled a 3. So he needed that 4 up to bring back that summonable unit yeah, I think it was a summonable unit of Fellbats there. So huge congrats to Will, 25 to 22. Very good. Owen Sane called it. Well, I think I called it as well, to be fair, Owen, because I did say set up for the late game. Set up for that pulse in the late game. Very well done. Some nice tactical insight from everyone there. But yeah, what an absolute stonker of a game there. Boys did really, really well to get that game to as close to finishing on time as possible. And then just some little bit of administrative tidying up at the end there. I think that was as clean a game as we could have actually seen from the two guys there. They played very, very well and very sporting, helping each other out as well throughout the entire thing. So amazing, well done to Will. And it looks as if Will is going to take out this tournament. And it looks as if it's going to be Will in first place, it's going to be Nathan in second place, and then we'll have to check points for that coveted third place trophy. Because we do have someone with a draw in hand, and they can be a bit of an assassin. So we'll see how they get on there. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap up. On that game just now. We've taken up enough of your time. I want to say a huge thanks to everyone for watching. Huge thanks to Kyle, my co-commentator. Come in here, Kyle. Get in here. Here he comes. He's been doing well. Getting up and about, getting all of the updates on scores and things like that for me. So he's been very pivotal for this last last game here. And then huge hugs all round, huge handshakes from the two players as well.
Lots of laughing between them. They incidentally ultimately gave themselves more time by talking it out than if they actually played it on the clock.
Okay.
Because I was speaking to them there because I was very close to going over and being like, "You're talking it out. Stop rolling dice."
Yeah.
So in that stage, but yeah, they ended up giving because Will has something like 5 minutes or so left on the clock, and JJ had a little bit more.
Okay.
So they both did agree that Will would have timed out.
Yes.
So there was a little bit of shenanigans and things there where if they had actually played on the clock and didn't forget that you can't roll dice when talking things out, Will wouldn't have been able to have countercharged. JJ would have got the point, and it would have hinged on that. Potentially JJ actually moving on to the objective next to the pulse.
Okay.
And potentially of winning the game. But these things.
But I suppose. All came down to that grand strat anyway at the end.
Ultimately, it just depended. He rolled a 3 in the end anyway.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have won it, but he would have potentially tied. So it all came down to that. So I just explained to them for the future, when you talk something out, don't roll dice.
Yeah, exactly. If you've decided to call time on it because you feel like, well, that's us, we're out of time. We talk, we don't touch. Touch there.
Would you like me to grab them to have a word with us?
Yes, I think what we might do is we might have a wee post-match review with the two boys. In a wee second, we'll quickly just go to a short break, and we'll be back with you in just a couple of seconds. Thanks, folks.
Quite looking forward to leaning into this together. We can make eye contact as well.
And we're back. With Will just being super creepy to JJ there. So well done, Will. Very on brand. So here we go. Basically, first thing I have to say is massive congratulations to Will and commiserations to JJ there. That was a tremendous game between two people. It looked as if you guys were playing in probably 2.5 times speed to make sure that stayed within time there. And people were also sprinkling the praise on you guys as well. They couldn't fault any of you for slow play or anything like that. Obviously, when you have that many models on a table and you were working together, rolling ward saves, pulling models, piling things in for each other, so that was awesome to see first and foremost. So really well done, guys. And so looks like it was 3 points in it at the end. Basically the grand strat, JJ, and the needing of rolling a 4-up. I hate it when it comes down to a game. It's like, well, I just need to make a 50-50 and I could win this game here. So what's your thoughts on how the game went? Was there at any point in time where you feel that you could have done something differently and maybe let the game get away from you, or do you think that it basically went well and just it was kind of randomness of maybe the dice, or potentially that mission itself just lends itself so well to the late game positioning for Will? So what do you think, JJ?
I think I knew it was going to be very close because whoever got to pick the pulse essentially was going to be ahead early and then catch up late. So I knew it'd be close either way. I think the roll for first, kind of.
You mean Prio on too? Because you
the
just get first.
I was meaning like the roll for who gets attacker or defender. Like it was important, but it wasn't insane.
No, because
good.
You're 2 drops on 4, remember?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Last time we played this, we were the same number of drops.
Ah, I see.
But,
yeah.
I think we said the prio on 2 is really important.
Yeah.
But you did get that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, I knew it was going to be close either way, because if it started on your side where all your army was, then it would have came over to me. So I think you would have went ahead, and then it would have been me getting the points late. So I'm happy with how it went, to be fair. Like, to end the game on a 4-up to win or lose is like epic.
Super.
Especially with teammates, right? It's like, well, it's literally a flip a coin.
Yeah.
You know?
And that was the thing we'd said the whole way through as well, that you guys, your teammates, you're both for Steamed Warhams. So either way, like, this was going to be a great game between two buds, and it's obviously it's you guys are used to getting reps in against each other as well. So in terms of coming to a conclusion at the end, we both knew there wouldn't be any issue with that, and that we would see a really nice, clean, tight game for the both of you, because both very good technical players. You've been both running zombies for quite some time now, so it was really quite good to see you guys work. So well done for that. JJ, to you, any thinking back, you decided to go second into turn 2, and you decided where the pulse was.
Yeah.
Do you think that if you were to play that game again, would you have changed where the pulse went, or would you still have kept it the same?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'd like to run it back on TTS and see what happens from there. Honestly, I think it's going to be similar either way, though. I genuinely think, because as I say, I think in that case, Will goes up in points early and I bring it back late. So I think it's going to be close either way, honestly.
Yep. It's very spicy, and also the fact that it just came down to a grand strat, potentially deciding it as well, just shows you how close that matchup is between the two zombie players as well. So in terms of Will, we saw some decent kind of counterplay from yourself. We saw you counter-charging some zombies that were summoned in from JJ. We saw you counter-charging Manfred when when JJ had moved a Verkos Bloodborne, I think it was, and then Manfred, based off of a redeploy, charged into some zombies, I think it was, to try and really clear out that objective of zombies there. In terms of your own play, anything you would want to change, you think, in the future?
Winning prio on top of 2?
Sorry.
Winning prio on top of 2? That's probably a good one.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
I think that in my head, the way that matchup goes is my army's a little bit favored.
Okay.
Because I've opted for 4 drops.
Yep.
To JJ's 2.
Yep.
If we normally both play 2 drops, it's pretty much a stalemate kind of mirror game, except whoever wins the roll and gets to decide the turn order is usually advantaged.
Yep.
I was like, right, let's try what happens if I just accept that I've lost that roll, but build an army that's slightly better for the mirror.
Yep.
And then I kind of feel like there was one turn I had the kind of potential to go crazy with magic, and my dice let me down a little bit, which was rough. I think I definitely should have thrown away both of my Fellbat units earlier, just to try and roll in my grand strat.
It's a good
one
shout.
of them should have just ran into your Manfreds, just like a fly on a windscreen.
Yep.
And I think the other one I could have just thrown into that giant unit of zombies, because I didn't think in my head that, like, well, they're actually, as soon as the pulse moves away, they're not actually threatening anything at all. So they should have just flown into your zombies and be like, okay, you're going to have to kill them at some point. That or your unit can't move.
Yeah, no, that's such a good shout there, because especially in that matchup, it's a bit like handbags at dawn, just like hordes of zombies slapping against each other. Nothing really dies, so yeah, having the summonable units to res back is huge. And if you had that ability to just get your grand shot, you could have put the game away a lot sooner as well. No, for sure. So yeah, really good insight there from Will. So what do we think? Are we going to be continuing to run Soul Blights, lads, for the foreseeable? What's our thoughts on the list? What's our thoughts on the armies for the future?
I'm going to see what the battle scroll says. I'm practicing for Six Nations, so at the moment I'm sort of marked for Soul Blight, but if they get like hit really hard, then I've got loads of different armies I can play, so I'm just waiting to see the battle scroll. I would actually, I'd rather it came out like right now. I'd rather they nerfed them now so I could tell what happened, so I know if
that's not how James Workshop rolls. he likes to make you wait and sweat, and then you have to change your army totally last minute. It's good to have a good commission painter as a friend in that respect. So, but yeah, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for someone like that. And for yourself, Will?
I think for me, it sounds kind of, I don't know, maybe almost big-headed, but I feel like you kind of don't have that much fun playing Soul Blight unless you're playing against like Khorne, OBR, or other Soul Blight. Mm-hmm. Because you just win games quite easily, and it's not that, like, they're almost, and maybe Seraphon, they're almost kind of too broken.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to having them nerfed, because see, at least playing in my local playgroup against my friends and things like that, I want to go back to my Nurgle. Just because it's a case of like, well, if I turn up with my Soulblight and you're not playing one of the kind of latest armies, we're almost playing kind of a non-game.
Yeah.
You know, it's too...
Yeah, we chatted at the start about just how oppressive Soulblight is to play, especially those types of lists where they can just gum you up with bodies, countercharge things, wreck battle tactics, stop things from being able to put their power projection out onto units as well, and then just basically going, yeah, so I'm just going to win, so like... Okay, you do you try and get as many points as you can, but I'm just going to win because I've taken over the entire board as well. So no, very interesting. So back onto Nurgle perhaps,
I think so,
yeah, or if Soulblight get nerfed, maybe have a funner time with them.
I think if Soulblight get nerfed, I might actually I'm more likely to keep playing them, because then it will be more like a fair game.
Yeah.
You know, because I actually bought into them in the old book. I don't know if you remember, I was playing 200 zombies here last time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've said that you've been running zombies for quite some time. Yeah.
So, I mean, I would like them to, I don't know, be fair. Right? Like, and just kind of like fun to play. I think that they feel quite uninteractive. So same with OBR, because with OBR it feels like nothing you do matters because you can't kill anything. And with Soulblight it feels like nothing you do matters because even if you do kill stuff, it doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah.
So
I really like playing them back in the monster GHB, like 2 GHBs ago, when it was 6s to hit to Immortal and they had weird piling, because you could just like make more aggressive moves and like fly forward and do a lot of damage, instead of now where you kind of like sit and wait to get hit, and that's how you get your damage out.
Yeah. No, for sure. Awesome.
6-inch piling is very fun.
6-inch.
That's one thing. Like it wouldn't have mattered because it still would have came down to a 4-up for the game. But like when I brought back that unit of 10, I should have stayed outside 6 if possible of your dogs. Then you piled back. But again, that
didn't matter in the end.
That would have meant I lost by 2 instead of 3.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have mattered for the 4-up at the end. But it was still a play that should have been done.
No, for sure. Well, awesome. It's been great talking to you guys. Thank you so much. I know you must be absolutely shattered after 2 games of that, and as I say, you were playing absolutely lights out. So thanks so much for spending time having a chat. So once again, congratulations to Will, commiserations to JJ, and thank you so much for being on. I think we're going to wrap up there, folks. So I hope that everyone's enjoyed the coverage at the weekend. First time doing it, so there's a few little teething issues, but I think we managed to get it kind of ironed out in the end. So hope you've all enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy watching this back as well. We'll make sure they're all nicely edited, and we've got a lot of the issues kind of ironed out of those as well. And without further ado, I think we're just going to sign out there, folks. So thank you so much. It's goodbye from me, DJ. Kyle's away, probably just having another drink. So it's bye from Kyle, and it's goodbye from these chaps as well. So thank you so much. See you later, guys. Bye bye.